What's up, Matt?
What's up, my dude?
How you doing, my man?
You literally just shotgun recorded us here.
Just straight in with this shit, dude. Hey, it's a shame we're not
Oh,
in person, man. Usually this is our, we do this together.
is this our third year doing it?
Third year doing it. What's that you got in your hand there?
This was courtesy of my good friend Peter McCormick.
Yeah, what is it?
It's a Glenfarclas Highland single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 25 years. As you see, I left the seal. It's been sealed. I haven't opened it yet.
Don't trust verify.
Yeah. I actually drank the whole bottle after you sent it to me, and
You
then
did?
I just refilled it with garbage. No, I'm kidding.
I'm a bit jealous. I'm here with a Sazerac rye. I'm a bit jealous of yours, man. Well, listen, look. I went up until recently. I went nearly 4 months without drinking.
This isn't your first time drinking
No.
in the last 4 months.
No. So I drank on my birthday, which was Halloween. I did about 3 months, and then I didn't really drink most of November. But I was always going to drink for Christmas. Like, I wasn't giving up drinking forever. It was just like one of those things. It's beautiful, man. He must really like you to buy you a present like that. Pop.
Might be the best pop I've ever had.
That's a pretty good pop, dude. But I was always going to drink at Christmas, and I have. I'm going to stop again New Year's Day. But I had some champagne tonight. Cheers.
Cheers to the new year.
To the new year. Tell me, what's it like?
The new year or the scotch?
The Scotch. Fuck the new year. What's the Scotch like?
It's fucking delicious, dude. Thank you.
I knew it would be.
I mean, this might be the nicest scotch I've ever drank. So,
Since the last bottle I got you.
I don't. What'd you give me last time?
I can't remember.
No, last year I supplied and we drank bourbon.
No, I bought you a bottle in the middle of the year, didn't I?
Oh yeah, you did for a different show, not our end of year.
Not about in the year.
I don't know. We'll have to go back to the tapes.
Did we do it?
But this is definitely way nicer. You outdid yourself on this one, so thank you for this. Especially if you price it in the Sats when it was delivered.
Yeah, like it's like tripled in price.
Because when you sent this to me, you sent this to me like early December.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It was Christmas Eve last time we did this, wasn't it? Because I flew home.
Yeah.
I flew home late Christmas Eve, landed Christmas Day, and we're in a very, very different world since then, man. We can't see each other. I would have been. We wouldn't have done it today, but I would have flown out. But shit, man. Well, listen, we got a lot to cover. We have a lot to cover. I'm gonna let you go first. You pick where you want to start, and then I'll pick where I want to start, and then we'll just talk about whatever we're gonna talk about.
I'm the guest.
Yeah, I know, but this is two friends talking. Pick one thing.
Okay, well
Just pick one thing from the year where you're like, that shit stands out for me, and we'll start there, and then I'll do mine.
March 12th.
Okay, March 12th. March 12th was COVID dip.
Yeah, March 12th was the day.
Was that the day like Crypto Cobain bought like 3,000 Bitcoin or something?
I mean, I think a lot of people scooped up some good coin on that day, but that was the day. If I at least in my memory, we went from like 9,000 to 3,500. I'm not sure if those are the exact numbers,
I thought
but it was like
6,000.
5 hours. It wicked though. BitMEX got fucking pulled. Like the whole order book got. Remember on March 12th, and on BitMEX they shut down their platform and they just pretended it was like a Coinbase thing. Like how Coinbase always goes down whenever there's big volume. BitMEX was like, we had technical difficulties and we shut down the platform. Like was offline for a little bit.
Yeah.
And a lot of people speculated it's because it was just going to go straight to zero on BitMEX.
So I've got it here, March 7th. It's about 9,000. And then it drops then down to like, what's that, like 8,000? No, you're right. Like March 11th, it wicks up to... Hold on. No, it's like, it goes like 8,000 down to...
Like 3,800.
No, it goes down to 4,600, and the next day, March 13th, it then goes down again to 3,800.
Oh, so it was the second day it went lower.
Yeah, it's the second.
That's
day
even
one.
worse.
Yeah,
That's
but
even more scary.
it is, but it wicked down. But like, it was a weird thing actually, because do you know what? Without COVID, I actually think the we were already in the bull market. If you look at it, we're already in the bull market, because you can actually look at that little March dip, and it's actually just like a little random. You've got to like what March.
Well, that's
April,
what
May.
was weird about it.
Yeah.
That's why, and it caught a lot of people off guard.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people had too much leverage. If the COVID freak out panic didn't happen, they would have tons of Bitcoin right now. But instead, they lost everything.
Yeah, because if you look here, like we go back to May.
This wasn't a Bitcoin thing. It was the stock market fucking. I mean, people don't remember. I mean, maybe they don't remember. It was so recent ago. It feels like forever ago. The stock market, they kept doing their circuit breaker thing, where it was like if it goes down by too much, they freeze the market. In Bitcoin land, we don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of a free market. So we ripped the Band-Aid off. We went down first and we came up first. But they had it was a little bit slower on like the traditional equity side.
Because if you go back to like December 18, it went as low as like about 3,132, and it built up to like July 19. When it went up to like nearly 14, I think that was when Bitcoin 2019 was on, because it seemed to spike then.
Right. That's when I told everyone to market buy at the local top. It was like 13K in 2019. And then we proceeded to go all the way back down to whatever that March 12th low was.
Well, no. In fairness to you, like December, it only dropped down. It dropped down to about 7, and then it came back up to like over 10 again, and then it dropped down with COVID. But if you look at it, if you swap COVID out, it looks like it would have just ranged between like that range that range we had between like kind of like 8.5 and 10. We had it for like May to August. That was where the range already was before then. So COVID was a weird event.
We recently had it come out that it appears, the Plus token whale that was selling all that Bitcoin in 2019 was the Chinese government. Or at least it appears it was the Chinese government. And they were selling hundreds of thousands worth of Bitcoin they were just constantly selling Bitcoin. So maybe, you don't have them in there selling, 2019 turns out a lot different. But at the end of the day, like, it doesn't really matter, right? Like the people who won here are the people who just stayed humble and stacked sats. Like, it was a great vindication of the thesis, basically.
Or some who just stacked stats but weren't humble. Like, I'm not particularly humble, but I stacked
No,
stats.
but if you weren't humble, you lost your money on the 12th.
But yeah, okay. Well, so an interesting thing that we can talk about on the 12th, which is companies like BlockFi, who you're not a massive fan of, completely survived that. Didn't affect them at all. Like, that was the test. I know you don't like them. We talked about this last year. You gave me a hard time.
Yeah, but their customers got fucked, though.
Yeah, but that's their choice.
A lot of their customers got fucked.
Well, actually, so we could talk about that. So some of their customers got fucked, like some people on exchanges got fucked, right? You make that choice.
Right.
You're doing something with leverage.
Like BitMEX.
Yeah, like if you're trading on BitMEX with leverage, you got fucked. If you're trading with an LTV on... if you're borrowing with BlockFi with an LTV, you might have got fucked. But what I'm saying is it didn't crush their business. So a lot of people in advance have talked about businesses like theirs that might actually unravel their business. It didn't. It may have unraveled some customers.
I mean, that's a good sign, I think. But I also think, it's early in these companies' life cycles, and they're still very much startup companies, right? So they have these large war chests, right? It's a little bit different than, let's see, what kind of structural risks these companies might have in like 5 years or something like that as the Bitcoin price balloons and their loan products get used more and more, right? But one thing I wonder, and I, to this day, I still kind of have an inkling, is like, I think, there was an explosion of the use of those products in the lead up in 2019 and early 2020. And I think, it seems like a pretty obvious conclusion to me that March 12th was more severe because so many people were using those products.
Yeah, probably.
And and if as long as you like were holding your own keys and you weren't leveraged or whatever, like that additional volatility that happened because people were using those products doesn't really hurt you. You just wait a couple days and it levels out, right?
Yeah.
But that one day, that 1-2, March 12th, March 13th, was just cascading calls. It's like one company would then sell out people's positions or collateral, and then the next one would, I think.
Well, I wonder who actually got like long term fucked on that, because who was the one who kept? Was it Cred who came out recently? Were fucked? Was it Cred?
On what?
The one of those like BlockFi competitors, I think it was Cred, came out recently that they were completely screwed.
There's so many like substandard, like lower tier ones that those are just going to be dying left and right, and it's going to be like fraud and all this shit left and right. Like it's like if you are going to use one of these products, like you should use like one of the like top label ones.
Who would you use? Who do you rate?
Well, I mean, like BlockFi is your sponsor; they're like super well capitalized, and Unchained Capital is my sponsor.
So you yeah.
But I wouldn't use either.
I think they're the best too.
Yeah.
I think they're the best too. But it was interesting, that thing. Did you buy any Bitcoin around that time? Because I didn't for shit.
I went back. I mean, I should have bought more, but I went back to my Cash App and I just fucking. I like falling knives. I like bought the way down, and then I did pretty good in March.
I've been buying heavily from, I would say, about May. And I would say between May and November, I doubled my Bitcoin holding. Like once we got it back into that
good
10
for you,
range.
man. That's good.
Well, yeah, so once we got into that kind of 10 range, I was like, that's where we are. I knew we were safe there. Like, because we went down with the March thing, I was like, okay, we've worked down. But like once we started ranging around 10, I was like, okay, this is our range. This is like where we settled. And I just kept converting everything I had personally and in the company. And I've been buying I've literally bought all the way up. I haven't bought over 20, but I bought all the way up to 20. Let me tell you what I think changed things. So this run's been obviously pretty epic, right? From like, I don't know, let's say from, what are we looking, October? We've gone from that little, we broke up to 12 around August, and then we broke back down to 10, like 9 September. And then from like October, it's been pretty much straight up. Let me ask you this. How much of this do you think happens because of MicroStrategy, and how much do you think it happened anyway?
Well, I mean, so like I believe like in the cycles, right? Mm-hmm. And so I mean, I think this lines up. It lines up pretty much. Not identical, but it would be like pretty fucking close to the previous cycles. And I don't think that's a fucking coincidence. Like I think like the halving has this, even though like everyone knows it's gonna happen, it has like this weird effect when it happens.
Yeah.
And you see the price run ups kind of end up correlated to it. And I think if you look earlier on, like Bitcoin cycles are all dominated by like one or a couple new entrants that come in and realize that Bitcoin's pretty small and they can pump it themselves. Mm-hmm. And it used to be smaller fish, right? And now we've had our first billionaire come in who realized that he could pump it on his own, mm-hmm. right? But in the terms of billionaires, Michael Saylor is he's a small fish billionaire, right? Mm-hmm. So then next cycle will be dominated by the top 10 Forbes guys, and it's this self-fulfilling prophecy that Bitcoin's a extremely scarce asset going through its adoption phase, and new participants can basically pump the price themselves. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay,
so but say we don't have a Sailor, does it not happen? Like, are we relying a stroke of luck to have one each time?
The cycle led to a Sailor type individual was going to come in. You know what I mean? It's like,
but he's one guy, dude. He's one guy. Imagine he didn't. Imagine he looked and went, yeah.
Yeah, but it's the culmination, right? It's like you hear him. He speaks like he like reads the party line of Bitcoin Twitter, right? It's like memes come to reality. You had the Mooch on yesterday.
Yeah.
If you read the Mooch's deck that he's pitching to people to get them to invest in his Bitcoin fund, it reads like the Twitter memes, right? Like Bitcoin's a monetary life raft, you
Dude,
know,
said
like
it
all
all.
these, like, so one thing leads to the next, and it's just this constant growth cycle that's happening, right? And so I think, you know, it's beautiful to watch it unfold,
No,
right?
it's beautiful.
But it's definitely a positive feedback loop that's happening here. It's not like Saylor just came out of nowhere. And I promise you that there was a couple Bitcoiners like behind the scenes. For every one of these guys that turns, there's always like a couple Bitcoiners that are like basically pumping their bags by trying to convince these guys to come in. And then that's what Saylor does, right? Saylor goes and tries to convince his friends to come in.
Like, he's been epic. I've watched him, and I've watched him closely, and I've watched what he's doing, and I think it's kind of obvious. I think it's really obvious what he's done. He's made his decision. He's gone in deep, and then he's realized, I'm going to market the shit out of this. I'm going to go on every fucking podcast, every TV station I can, every program, and I'm going to talk about this. And he's smart. Like, he's been in like half the time I have. I can't talk about Bitcoin the way he does. He's super fucking smart, but he's pumped it up. He's really fucking pumped this shit up. And it's been impressive to watch. But not only has he pumped it up, he's created a playbook for everyone else. Like, not just the playbook about how you'd use your treasury. He's created the second playbook about how you leverage your cash flow. He's created 2 playbooks for people to come in and do the same. But what I wonder how much of that run up is his buying, and how much is it him influencing other buying? Because I tell you why. There was the other day, like when he did the loan, he did the $650 million loan. Then we heard nothing, and the price really ran up that week. And then he declared,
It was like when he announced that, what was it? It was like 19 and a half or something, or like 20 something.
I think it dipped.
I mean,
afterwards.
we all did big stacks. We all did big stacks when we saw that announcement, right? Like, I wasn't the only one.
I took out a loan.
Did you see Nick Carter? Nick Carter was like his baby, the efficient market hypothesis. He was like, the price should have just automatically priced it in right away as soon as it was announced, you know? But no, it takes a little bit of time.
The price actually dipped. So what happened? He announced it. The price dipped to 17.5, and that's when I like went online. I was laying in bed, right, and I saw a tweet from Zach Vol, and he was like, "Bitcoin's dipped, and I've bought." I didn't actually look at the tweet. He said he bought like $10 worth. I didn't notice it. I was like, "Fuck, it has dipped." So I went on my bank. I was like, "How much? What's the maximum loan you can get? £35,000 or whatever, like $47,000."
I thought that was a troll that you did.
No, it totally did it. Actually, I'm tracking it here. So I converted it into dollars so Yanks can understand it, but I've got it here. So I borrowed 35.
And what did you tell them it was for? You told them it was for your company or something?
I actually. So this is actually. So actually, I didn't strictly lie. I didn't actually strictly lie. So they put down what's it for, and it's for home improvements, and I am about to do some work on my house. But what I decided I would like to do is, whilst I'm waiting for the work to begin on my house, I would rather hold the money in Bitcoin than pounds.
The melting ice cube.
Yeah, the melting ice cube. So I didn't actually lie. So it was 35,000. The total.
Well, go on.
But this is pounds. The total repayable value is £43,700 if I pay it back in 6 years. If I pay it back next week, it's 35,300 or something, and it's up £19,200. So what is that in dollars?
Yeah, I mean, the important thing for this, we see this happen every cycle.
Yeah,
we see this happen every cycle. You know, it depends on your timing when you hit it. You know, if you hit it in this bull period post halving, like, you usually have some cushion like immediately. But still, I cringe when I read someone tweeting it out that, you know, like, I just took a loan out and then put it into Bitcoin.
Yeah, I completely agree. I cringe as fuck. But
like
the reason
when Saylor does it, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because he knows he can just, his announcement of buying that large amount of position is gonna pump the price and give him cushion.
Yeah.
When a little guy does it, No one gives a shit. It's not like you're not pumping the price yourself.
Okay, so it's slightly wrong. People give a
it's
shit.
less risk. It's less risk for a sailor size whale to do those kind of maneuvers than it is for, an average Joe, an average Pete.
Yeah, but mine was more of like troll slash
Yeah.
troll slash social experiment. I actually said to my guy Danny, my engineer, I told him I was doing it, and he was like, "Are you going to put it on Twitter?" I was like, "No, I'm not fucking putting this on Twitter. People will lose their shit." So I didn't, and then I did this interview with George Gammon, and it came up for whatever reason. I was like, "Fuck it, I'll tweet it out." I didn't think it would blow up as a tweet. It did. I've probably had 200 to 300 DMs with people asking me whether they should do the same or thinking of remortgaging their house.
That's the danger of it.
Yeah, that's the danger. So I've told every single one of them, don't do it. I say it's not financial advice, but I'm leveraging cash flow, right? I'm exactly the same as Sailor. I'm leveraging cash flow.
Except, like I said, that Sailor's announcement itself is pumping the price, and he already had a big bag of Bitcoin. So,
yeah, that's true.
So he knows, and like he can just keep doing. He can just keep pumping the price.
And the people who can copy him in a way because they're all rich. People who copy me are fucking broke losers like me, so they're like get themselves into trouble.
Right,
but like I don't.
When you have these like Scott Minerd guys coming on, like fucking Guggenheim and shit, and they buy it and then they announce it and they know the price is going to go up just because they announced it. There's no skill when these like uber rich guys, or there's some skill. I'm not going to completely take it away from them, but there's way less skill when these uber rich guys buy a position and then announce it. It's just like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So and with Bitcoin, it's extra nice. With Bitcoin, they didn't discover it yet. Now that they realize Bitcoin, there's no SEC violations they have to worry about. There's no securities violations. Like remember Elon's, taken private at 420 or whatever. He can pump Bitcoin all the fuck he wants to pump Bitcoin, and there's, it's not a security. They can't do that to him.
So you're saying mine had skill to it?
Yes, Pete. Everything you do has immense amount of skill.
No, look, it is what it is. But I'm glad. I'm obviously glad I did it. I felt confident.
Look, in hindsight, we all wish we did that, right?
No, it made sense.
We should have leveraged everything and just went fucking all in at any price below where we're currently at.
No, but it did make so back in when was it? Back when the price was at 11,000, I was thinking about buying some gold. I reached out to Dan DePiro, went through the process. Looked at it all, thought I want to buy more Bitcoin, but I don't want to be all in Bitcoin. Went through the process, and I was like, "Fuck this! This is a nightmare."
Gold's a shitcoin, man.
Yeah, this isn't gold. This isn't Bitcoin. I can't just instantly sell it within an hour if I want to. I don't know where I'm going to store it. So I was like, bullshit, and I ended up all my cash in my business bank account, which wasn't 30 days of cash flow, went straight into Bitcoin at that point, and I bought all the way up. Now I got to that point and it dipped down to 17.5. And what happened? It dipped to 17.5 after Sailor's announcement. So Sailor announced it. I think it was it over 20? No, it was 19. It hit 19.8. He announced it dipped to 17.5. And I'm like, well, he hasn't bought $650 million of Bitcoin and then it's dropped. That's not happened. And I was laying in bed and I went onto my bank. I was like, what's the most I can get? £35,000. Can I get it now? What's the interest? 7.9%. Well, fuck it. I can get it now. I looked at another one with a lower interest rate, but it was a 3-day approval. So I was like, fuck it. And I did it. And I'm glad I did it. And it worked out. But I'm leveraging business cash flow. And it worked out okay.
Yeah. And I get it's not due for a while.
No, but but the interest
which is important, right? Because the fear is March 12th. And we saw in the last bull run. I was looking back at my tweets. This is one of the reasons I think it's super cool to leave your tweets, and not delete them.
I've deleted it since last time you gave me shit about that.
There you go. I went back to the last cycle, and there was I think we hit 11K and then dropped down to 7 or 8K. So that was a 30% drop. So there's no reason to believe, and it's become a meme now. Everyone's when's the 30% drop gonna happen, right? Mm. But if we're gonna say this, the previous cycle was exactly the same, which it's not gonna be. That 10K drop from 10K would be the equivalent of a drop if we're going to go multiples from all-time high, a drop from 200K, right? Because it'd be 10x the previous all-time high, just like simple math. But so like, we might not be there yet, but I expect, Bitcoin's a fucking crazy beast, and I expect we're going to have some crazy ass drawdowns on the way up. I think, in general, you dollar cost average and you edge out the volatility and number goes up. But in the short term, no one knows. We're in the open water Bitcoin territory. We're in the territory where you wake up in the morning, your net worth could be down 35%. Or it could be up. It could be up 15%, or it could be down 40%. And if you're over leveraged, that's when you get fucked, and you're going to regret it long term.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you have yourself covered.
But my payments are like
Right.
I think in US it's $800 a month. My business cash flow is $10,000 to $30,000 a month profit, depending on what it is. Like, it was easy. I actually applied for 3 loans. 2 got rejected because they saw the other one, and they're like, "What are you doing?" So I could handle that. I could handle it. Yeah, it wasn't a worry to me. I think my mistake was I didn't explain it well enough about how I was leveraging business cash flow. I wasn't clear enough saying to people, like, you should not do this. But I just fucking put it out there. Like most of my tweets, I don't really think them through. So
I mean, now that you have Defiance, which, by the way, you've been killing lately,
thank you.
You're a little bit more diversified. I'm doing air quotes. But I think, your cash flow is Bitcoin dependent cash flow for the most part, right? So
For the most part.
Right. So you're leveraging your Bitcoin cash flow to take out a Bitcoin loan. I still, your all the other arguments, it's in like a reasonable size, whatnot. But it's a little bit different than like a MicroStrategy cash flow. MicroStrategy's cash
definitely.
flow is like corporate and government contracts that they have long-term contracts for that are completely unrelated to Bitcoin. Right? Like that's it is a difference.
So what do you say? You wish you'd done the same?
No, yes. I mean, obviously, I wish I bought more Bitcoin. Everyone does when the price pumps. But what I'm saying is, even without financial leverage, those of us who choose to operate in this space and derive cash flow from it, we're fucking leveraged up on that element, right? It happens to be that the podcasting is more insulated in bear markets, right, than other businesses in the Bitcoin space. But you're tied up in the same thing.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, look, I'm looking at it now. Is it 28? The funny thing is, right, through this run up, every time it hits a level, it goes up, it drops back like 12, 1500, and then it looks really stable. It looks really stable. I don't know if you saw the chart I did the other day. There was one drawdown of like 16%. Every other one's under 10%.
No, yeah, it's insanely bullish. I mean, it just looks like there's this massive FOMO going on between rich people right now.
It is, but do you know what I think the difference is? One big difference between this and the last bull market, right, is fuckheads like you, me, and traders looking and going, and maybe not you, but like looking and going, shit, if it hits this price, I'm going to cash out. I think this year, what we've got now is we've got all these people coming in. They're not thinking, when am I cashing out? Like Mass
I think
Mutual.
the risk profile changed.
Yeah.
Right? Like
they don't need the money.
But also it's way less likely that Bitcoin fails. Every day it survives, every cycle it survives, the risk profile improves. So I mean, obviously the true believers might not have changed their mind, but there's way more true believers than before because of it. Right?
But it's different. I still think like 17, 18 is a retail environment. They're holding Bitcoin, but a lot of them are thinking.
Right. We had like the shitcoin casinos and stuff are all going crazy.
But they might need to cash out. They're like, even at my best time, I was still thinking, well, I'm going to cash some of this out. So someone like Mass Mutual, I was chatting to somebody who works at Skybridge. He said the thing you need to understand about Mass Mutual, they put in $100 million, but that's not a lot of money for them. and they're not looking to sell next year or in 2 years or 5 years. They're probably never going to sell. Like, that's just an asset that's going to grow, which they're going to leverage, that's going to sit on their balance sheet, but they don't need to sell. Is Sailor going to sell? Is he going to sell in a year, 5 years? Like, I think we've got people now who've got genuine decade or multi-decade horizons with this. So they've just taken Bitcoin off. They've just taken it out. It's out of the supply. It's just gone. And I think that makes a massive difference. And I think that's why...
I think retail's doing that as well.
Because of that, though. Because of that.
Well,
and also,
I think especially on Bitcoin Twitter, we've kind of nurtured this stack mentality, right? Where it's it took HODL, and which was like dominated last cycle, and turned it into more of an active, productive goal of just constant, endless accumulation until they stop taking our shitty money for the good money. And there's hundreds of thousands of us out there that are just all doing that same thing. They're just and that's what the people don't realize when they make these priced in arguments. So now that we have bigger players coming in, future halvings can get better priced in. But the previous participants, before this started getting really frothy, we were just putting in as much as we could possibly put in every week. We were tapped out. We couldn't price it in further.
I think there's another thing as well, Matt. Like, again, this probably isn't for you, probably more for me, right? So a couple of interviews I did this year that really switched my thinking. I did one with Nick Bhatia based on his book, Layered Money, which completely flipped my thinking around Lightning Network. And I did the Brandon Quittem one around the fourth turning. And, like, I've heard all this hyper Bitcoinization stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I believe it, yeah, whatever. And like, just like thinking, what is my pound value in Bitcoin? I'm genuinely getting to that point where I'm realizing, holy shit, there's going to actually come this flip. It's not that I think the pound or the dollar will die, but they'll come to a point where people will be like, I'd rather have Bitcoin than pounds. I'd rather have Bitcoin than dollars. I'm not there yet now. If I was, I would have every single invoice I collect for my business paid in Bitcoin. I'm not. It's too volatile. It's too risky. I still need to have some pounds, which are a little bit more stable, so I can make sure I pay my bills, right? So I'll give you a good example. If I looked at my business over this year and like every single sponsor said, I'll pay the whole year in advance in Bitcoin if you give me like a 20% discount, you might look at that and go, wow, that's a great idea because Bitcoin might do a 10x. Yeah, but also what happens if Bitcoin does a March 12th? You fucked. It's the end, my business is over. So it's a bit too risky, right? But I genuinely see a point in the future where I might actually go,
what about like a 5% discount?
Yeah, well, maybe. Like, but whatever the discount is, there is still a risk. Even if it's even, no discount, right? There is still that slight risk that I'm just holding it in Bitcoin, and a March 12th happens, and my balance sheet drops by 30%. I still got to pay my 6 staff at the end of the month. They won't pay in pounds or dollars, right? It's too volatile to base a business on. But I do see a point potentially in the future where I'm like, actually think I'd rather have Bitcoin. Like, say there's a bit more stability around the price. I think I'd rather have Bitcoin, or I'd rather have like 25% in Bitcoin or 30%. A bit like, let's look at Okung, right? Yeah, he announced yesterday he's going to get paid half his salary in Bitcoin. It's like, whoa, this is amazing. Like, I think he's great. He's getting $6.5 million paid in Bitcoin. He's still getting $6.5 million in cash, right? He can live on that.
Right, on the other side, the half that's $6.5 million.
Yeah, he's getting.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking, right? Like Saylor would tell him that if he was a real Bitcoiner, he would borrow against his future salary and buy the Bitcoin now, right?
Of course.
Why are you waiting?
No discredit to Okung, and he's tweeting out and saying, once you become a real Bitcoiner, you only get paid in Bitcoin. He's saying most people, like, what they earn, they spend each month. Right? You don't want to. Right. If you say you earn $2,000 a month, you spend $2,000 a month. You don't want to get paid in Bitcoin and suddenly lose 30%. You can't pay your fucking bills. If you're getting paid in $30 million a year and you've probably got millions in savings, it's an easier decision, right? He can do that. That's cool.
Well, that's why I think for most people, it's like 20% or whatever of what you earn, you put in, or 30%.
It's whatever beyond your cost of living you think you want to do, which is
with a little bit of cushion.
Yeah, a
for
little bit of
volatility's
cushion.
sake.
So, but I do like it. Like it has happened to me this year, Matt. I've been like a couple of times. I've been like, I'd just rather have Bitcoin. But I can see it getting to the point where I genuinely want Bitcoin over pounds. I'm like, no, just pay. And then once people starting to realize that, then it starts to destroy the value. And I can't even remember where this fucking started. But
I mean,
yeah.
I think I'd always prefer to get paid in Bitcoin. Yeah,
Well, yep.
I'm
You haven't
ready.
got.
I'm ready to just get paid 100% in Bitcoin. I'm not, you know. Um,
It depends what your outgoings are. I've got 2 kids.
Instead, it's annoying for me, right? Because I have to go through an extra step. I mean, I have to convert my dollars to Bitcoin.
Well, not with Strike. Well, yeah, with Strike, but
You're doing it regardless. I mean, it's the
yeah,
same as if you got your direct deposit into Cash App, or the foreman pays you cash and you go buy Bitcoin with cash or whatever. It's the
yeah.
same idea. It's like reverse BitPay.
But what I mean, the point I was trying to make is like I when people used to say it before, I was like, yeah, whatever. Now I can start to see how a dominant currency takes over. I can start to see how people might go, do you know what? I'd just rather be paid in Bitcoin. Like, I mean, I've had it a couple of times this year. My engineer was like, he wanted his bonus in Bitcoin. I was like, I don't want to give you the Bitcoin because I've got Bitcoin. I'll give you the dollar. You buy your own Bitcoin. I can
I
see how
like
it's
the
going to
idea of
happen.
bonuses in Bitcoin. I think bonuses in Bitcoin is a powerful, cool tool.
Yeah, but I had to take that out of my Bitcoin.
Right. I mean, I would buy him Bitcoin and give him a bonus in Bitcoin. But
Yeah,
but
yeah, but that's that's a good point because the point is, it's like then I have to make the effort of convert it to Bitcoin, and send them the Bitcoin. Like
yeah, but
I
it's a
just want.
nice.
Yeah, but if you think about what I'm saying is, if you think about it, I have to go through a bit of effort. I just want to give him the dollars and say, you do it.
Right.
But by
But I
doing
mean,
that,
I don't give people dollars for weddings. I give them Bitcoin.
yeah, but if you think about it, what the point I'm actually
'Cause
trying to
it's
make
cool.
right now is in that scenario, I'm already going, fuck the dollar.
That's right. If you got paid in Bitcoin, then you wouldn't have to convert it for him. You'd already have the Bitcoin to give him the bonus.
Yeah, of course, but I can't take that. I can't take that volatility risk. You can't. If you're
The thing is, we have two things happening, right? We have this adoption of this new asset that no one's ever seen before. No one's ever seen anything like this before. It's like one of the things that Sailor said that really I really clung on to is the fire analogy, right? It's like we've discovered fire. We have this new thing, but at the same time, we have the equal and opposite going on, where you have this shared illusion, this fiat. Like what is money? And there's a tipping point where people wake the fuck up on how shitty that money is and how good this money is, and it accelerates from both sides, right? And that's kind of what I feel like is playing out in real time.
Well, that's what I'm saying in that scenario, though. Is like, I don't want to give him my Bitcoin, right? I'm at that point. So I'm at that point with Bitcoin. It's like, beyond like my measurable volatility is what I can handle. So I measure the volatility of what I need to look after my kids and run my company. Outside of that, I don't want to hold any pounds. I want it all in Bitcoin, right? So It's only the volatility that's doing it. Outside of that, I'm like, it's Bitcoin. It's all Bitcoin. I've got to that point, and I'm making those decisions, and I'm going, I don't want to pay your bonus in Bitcoin because I don't want to give you Bitcoin. Let me give you these dollars, and you convert it.
We've had 40 minutes of conversation, which I've thoroughly enjoyed with you, Peter, that is distilled by my very nice little meme, stay humble, stack sats. That is literally all that it comes down to at the end of the day. All of this shit doesn't fucking matter. You just stay humble, you stack sats, and you reach salvation.
This was it's a great meme. This was the first year I've properly stacked. So it's another reminder of like, okay, I hope people who listen to this who are new to Bitcoin. I hope some shitcoin traders are listening to this, especially the BSV morons, because BSV, right? If you look on, I've got it here. I've got it in front of me. The BSV chart from. Okay, let's go March. Just before March. What's this? This is a spike. That is February 9th. Is it 0.37 Bitcoin?
Oof.
0.37 Bitcoin. February 9th. 31st of December. It is 0.005.
No, it can't. It wasn't 0.37. 0.037?
Sorry, 0.037.
There you go.
0.037 to
3% versus 37%.
Yeah, so
There's a big difference.
To 0.005, right? It's lost so much value. If
It's
you go and
basically
look at
zero.
Well, if you go and look at the dollar chart, it's kind of stayed around $160 quite recently. And if you go in the BSV chat room and they're like, it's holding up. It's holding up. But I get this, right? Because
You got to price things in good money. You can't price them in shitty money.
yeah, I know that, dude. Look, back in 17, 18, I was trading shit coins, and I didn't understand the idea of pricing in Bitcoin. I priced in dollars, and things were going up, and I got it, and I was like, this makes sense. I think the biggest thing these people need to understand, they need to price everything in Bitcoin. Just price that shit.
Literally everything.
Literally everything.
That's real FOMO. I've been talking about this a lot lately. That's the real FOMO, is when you start pricing like your yearly take home in sats. It just goes down. Every year it just goes down. Like we've passed our peak. I was making way more sats 2 years ago than I will ever make in my life. I will never pass that point again.
I wrote a tweet today and I didn't dare to put it out, but I wrote this tweet because it just sounded like a dickhead Bitcoin tweet. But I wrote this tweet that said, when you hold Bitcoin, everything gets cheaper.
Yeah, or more expensive, I guess. You could go both ways, right?
Well, it gets cheaper and like
past things get more expensive.
Yeah,
future things get cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. Everything's getting cheaper. It's like I don't give a fuck what people think.
It's nice. It's amazing when your savings increase in purchasing power. You know, it's like, who would have thunk it? You know, it seems like a positive incentive.
Well, I mean, you'll hate this, Squamp. I'm definitely at some point going to buy a Lamborghini. Absolutely.
Yeah, stay humble, Pete.
No. Listen, it's not about being humble. Hear me out.
You can't even get a Lambo in stick shift. You have to get it in automatic. Like, how do you spend that much on a car and get it in automatic?
Ever since before you were born, how old are you? Are you even 30 yet? Are you even 20 yet?
I don't talk about this. I'm 19.
You look about 19. Okay, so way before you were born, we used to have these things called micro machines, right? Little toy cars. Do you know what a micro machine is?
Were they like remote controls?
No. They're like tiny little versions of cars. Do you remember little toy cars? Did you have little toy cars as a kid?
Right. Matchbox.
Yeah. Okay. So you had these one called micro machines that were like a fifth of the size, tiny little ones. And I got a gold Lamborghini. I was about 6 years old, and it was a Countach. And ever since then, I've always wanted one. So me wanting a Lamborghini's got nothing to do with Bitcoin. It's a coincidence.
What is a Lambo right now? Like 1 billion sats?
I don't know in sats. It's
what is the US dollar? Like 200,000?
$200,000. Yeah.
That's 1 billion sats.
Okay, it's 1 billion sats. Yeah, I don't know these denominations. I'm not Matt Odell. I don't do this shit.
Well, no,
What's
a tenner. If 10 bitcoins is a Satoshi billionaire. Is a Satoshi billionaire.
It's a Bitcoin, right? It's a Bitcoin. So I'm like, fuck this.
It's 10 Bitcoin. Oh yeah, I guess it's less.
Yeah. 25,000.
So it's like 800 million sats.
30,000. Yeah, 30,000. 6. It's about 6.5.
So like, what will it be? What do you think a Lambo will cost after 2021?
Yeah, see, this is the problem, because I'm like, it's 6.5 Bitcoin. Right, I can get one. I can get a Lambo. I can fucking get it.
650 million sats.
It's 6.5.
At the end of 2021, it'll be.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah, but at what point do you then
It'll easily be 200 million sats, maybe even less than that.
Then at what point do you start spending your? What point do you spend your sats? Like, everything's always going to get cheaper forever.
Well, I mean, look, this is where these companies, like, once your cost basis gets really good, this is where these companies come in, right? Where you take out a loan that's a very, very small portion, of your Bitcoin that you can easily cover, even if we drop 40%. And then you do these activities with those loans, so you don't have to actually sell the Bitcoin.
Exactly.
But
did you see who we're joined by the day? Did you see?
Yeah, I can't believe he's defending
anything.
Oh no, that's Garlinghouse, right?
Yeah, it's Brad, my buddy.
Pour one out.
Look, no, fuck that. I'm not wasting any whiskey on that cunt.
What people don't realize is like this. You know, this is the whole point, right? Like the whole point was state resistance. So if if your digital currency that you're pretending is more decentralized and censorship resistant than Bitcoin can't handle a simple security designation, then maybe you've been lying to everyone the whole fucking time.
Well, if you go on the Ripple Reddit, they're actually saying that if Ripple dies, XRP continues, and
Wait,
actually
no.
it's more decentralized.
We don't do this. We're not differentiating between XRP and Ripple. This was a long con where they tried to say that XRP is the currency and Ripple is the company. Back in my day, they called it Ripple all day and all night. They did it all the fucking time. And then they tried to do a switcheroo. And every time, I intentionally, whenever I talk about it on Twitter, I call the currency lowercase Ripple. And all the trolls come out and they're like, it's XRP, it's XRP. This guy doesn't even know it's called XRP. Like, why are we going to take him fucking seriously? Fuck you. I'm not going to use your terminology. You're full of shit. That's like one of the best things that Nick Carter's ever fucking tweeted out was his like Brad Garlinghouse finding like blue oil or whatever, discovering the XRP, just like ExxonMobil discovers oil.
Listen,
bullshit.
Well, actually, it actually goes back to Jed, but that's for another day.
Yeah, it's all bullshit.
It's all bullshit.
I don't want the SEC to. I don't think the SEC. I don't think governments should be shutting these things down, especially my government. Other governments can do whatever the fuck they want. They're not my government. My government shouldn't be shutting any of this shit down. Yeah, let the free market play it out. But it's awfully fucking ironic because they've been trying to use the government to shut down Bitcoin this whole fucking time. So.
Dude, I guarantee there are a bunch of anarchists and libertarians who are like, no, the SEC shouldn't be doing this. And then are secretly going, haha, fuck you, Ripple.
But there's a large group of Bitcoiners that want to use the SEC against shitcoins.
Of course they do. They don't want to admit it. They can't say it because it's like anti-libertarian or anti-fucking... Like, they don't want to support the government.
Bitcoin, to be honest, but it is what it is.
What I'm saying is they're happy. They're laughing about it. I think it's fucking brilliant.
Well, I can laugh about it and not support it.
So listen, there's some girl I know, right? It's just so funny. Well, it's not funny.
It sucks for the individual investors who have been robbed, right? And this is something that I tried to make clear on the first ever podcast I came on with you, is that the reason I'm so outspoken against shitcoins is not because I think they're a threat against Bitcoin. I think ultimately, long term, they're all going to trend to zero. There's no concern for Bitcoin. My concern is the individuals that are getting wrecked on these because the promoters aren't disclosing the trade-offs and they're lying to them. They're not being ethical about it.
I don't disagree.
That's always been my issue.
Look, I don't disagree. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. But this girl, right? So I know this girl. She's we never talked about numbers, right? She was like, "Oh, I'm into crypto." I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. Just make sure you're into Bitcoin." She's like, "No, I've got some Bitcoin. I've got some Ethereum. I've got some Ripple." Anyway, and the thing happened the other day, right? Like the announcement. And I messaged her and I was like, "Oh, you should definitely get rid of some of your Ripple." And she was like, "Yeah, how much do you think I should get rid of?" I was like, "How much you got?" She's like, "Oh, I've got 500,000 XRP." I was like,
God.
"What? That's like." What? That's like hundreds of thousands. I was like, how much Bitcoin have you got? She's like, 2. I was like, dude, listen, fucking sell that. Yeah, sell that shit now. Sell that shit. Anyway, turns out that wherever she had it was, she could only withdraw $20,000 worth a day. So literally every day for the last week is $20,000, $20,000, $20,000.
I mean, that's why I hate the custodial platforms too, right? Like, this is why people need to, especially when the price runs up on you, because those limits are almost always in fiat terms. And, I'm very unique about that in this space. Like, I'm very outspoken against our own sponsor, Cash App. Their limit is 2,000 a day. I think 5,000 a week.
That's quite low.
Yeah, and as the Bitcoin price goes up, the fucking limit in sats is going down tremendously. So it can run away from you. If you're not on top of it, it can run away from you. So people should be withdrawing the maximum amount they can, get out while they can.
I had it in back in the 17, 18 when I was like traded like a legend, and I turned like
Like a legend.
32 grand into hundreds and hundreds of thousands. I was on Polar
And then back
Neox
down.
ride. Yeah, back down. Fuck you. Hey, I'm back in the green.
I appreciated you
Po-
doing a retweet of your thread.
It needed to come out, man. Like I was there being all kind of like laughing at Ripple people, and then I got a couple of like quite sad DMs. I was like, fuck. So I felt bad. I was like, look, let's put that shit out there. So Polo Neox back then, they had like a limit every day of what you could withdraw, and I'm trying to remember. I think it was like 20,000, but the market was booming so much, like I was making more than that. It was either 20,000 a week, and I was making more than that a week, or 2,000 a day. I was making more than that a day. But every day I couldn't withdraw it, and it was getting more and more and more. And she's kind of got herself in that position. Well, not now that XRP is falling. Let me ask you something. You like shitcoin. So obviously all shitcoins. Let me ask you. A few things have come up recently with Monero. There was a thing the other day with some like website or market. They've gone Monero only. Like, are we still Monero as a shitcoin, or are we like, we don't mind Monero?
So like you pick like the least flattering picture to tease on Twitter, of me. So I do.
Hold on, it's all of us. It's all of us.
What?
Like, it's not flattering of any of us.
I mean, let's see.
I took one screenshot.
Um,
To be honest, it wasn't about either of us. It's about Brad.
No, I mean it's okay. So I got sidetracked. I was wondering if you tweeted it out, which you
Hey, you
apparently
look good.
did.
You've got all your books in the background that you've definitely not read.
Look, so many books. Yeah, I've read the Harry Potter. Okay, so what was your question?
Are we okay with Monero, or is it a shitcoin?
Monero, I wouldn't call a shitcoin, but it's trending to zero in Bitcoin terms with every other asset on Earth. And Monero might be the only one that isn't a shitcoin. To me, because I think privacy is important to me, so I appreciate the work they're doing over there. And I kind of think of it as like almost like a Bitcoin sidechain with a token on it called XMR that's going to zero long term. So I think Monero could be useful for Bitcoiners for spending and receiving, but not for like savings. Right? So it's a chain that has purpose right now, today has purpose. So to me, it's not a shitcoin, but at the same time, I believe every single asset on Earth, altcoins, Chrysler Building, Apple stock, are all trending to zero in Bitcoin terms. Same with XMR.
Yeah, but that's not useful. So let's get in. Let's try and do a more useful situation. Let's go. Let's not, because like that's a long enough time frame. Let's say next 5 to 10 years. Like I believe if hyper-Bitcoinization happens, it's a multi-decade play, right? Gradually, then suddenly. I don't know when that suddenly is. Let's say that even make it easier over the next 5 years. I don't think the dollar, the pound, the euro, and the yen die over the next 5 years. They could die over like 10, 20 years. So let's say the next 5 years. Does Monero have a use case? Is it interesting? Because there's so much pressure to be a maxi if you're a Bitcoiner, and there's so much pressure to not like appreciate any other coin. But there is just something about Monero. I'm like, nah, I can see a scenario I would use that because I'm shit with privacy. I'm shit with tech. If I had to like do something I totally didn't want to get traced, I would feel a little bit more comfortable using Monero than Bitcoin, because I would probably fuck something up with Bitcoin and get traced. That's my scenario.
Yeah, I mean, I think I summed it up already. I think, specifically in like life or death situations when privacy is really important, there's a lot of advantages to using Monero. I just don't think it's a good savings mechanism compared to Bitcoin, but I don't think anything is.
No, but that's a different use case.
Right. I mean, but if you look at, And this is why, like, I think the chains that survive are the chains that have easy ways to swap between them.
Well, they have a use case. No, they have a use case. Let's just look at everything else, right? I like Bitcoin as a use case. If I want to send you some money, I'm going to send you some Bitcoin, Matt. If I want to get paid by my sponsors, I'm going to get some Bitcoin. If I want to save some money, I'm going to use Bitcoin. Has a use case. If I've just sold you, why would I use Monero? Because I'm fucking crap with Bitcoin privacy tech. I would do something stupid. Like if I wanted to buy some crack cocaine.
Yeah, if you're going to use a dark market, you should use Monero.
Yeah, because
the
I would
average
definitely
person's going to but the thing is what people don't realize is, if you have like Bitcoin privacy tools, techniques, tech, like is integral in that process as well, right? Because you should still, it's a layered thing, and it's additive. So you use CoinJoin before you use Monero to get Monero, right? Like for that process to get Monero, you need to use Bitcoin privacy tools to begin with. So I consider like Monero. Monero is one of the Bitcoin privacy tools in a Bitcoiner's arsenal. It just happens to have this volatile token attached to it that you have to use in order to get the advantages, right?
Yeah. I know why you're saying that, but like I would go on exchange and buy Monero and not use CoinJoin Bitcoins because I don't know what I'm doing with CoinJoin, and still not worry too much. I'm like, prove what I use my Monero for.
Well, the easiest way to get Monero is with Bitcoin.
Yeah, of course.
In
but
a
like
private
I would
way.
do.
If you want to get Monero in a private way, the easiest way to do it is with Bitcoin.
The easiest way to get Monero is with Bitcoin without CoinJoin in it, because CoinJoining is an additional step that you have to learn about.
My point is that I feel like they're complementary,
Yeah.
but not in the way that an XMR holder might wish it was.
But still, it's got a use case. It's got a use case whereby
What's
I'm
your
like,
point?
fuck. My point is that whole
what is a shitcoin? Does gold have utility?
Yes.
But it's still a shitcoin.
Yeah, but that's the point. Like, if we say everything's a shitcoin,
is the definition of a shitcoin trends to zero in Bitcoin terms, or is it more than that?
Not for me. No, I think it's different because I think if you do that, you actually you might even accidentally legitimize stuff. You legitimize Dentacoin because you're saying Dentacoin's a shitcoin and gold's a shitcoin. And
right,
there's
different levels of shit.
Yeah, but I would say a shitcoin is something that has absolutely no fucking use at all today. In the present. Okay, so then you can go, okay, none of that, like Dentacoin, 0x, Zcash, none of it does. But like Monero has a use case today. I can think of a scenario I would use Monero and not use Bitcoin. Not regularly. It probably trends to zero because there's not enough usage, but it does. I can think of a use case for Ethereum slightly in that I may use a stable coin that's on Ethereum. That's probably my only scenario. Literally my only one. If you're
using a stable coin, you're not using Ethereum.
If it's a stable coin on Ethereum, I'm using Ethereum.
I guess.
It doesn't exist without it. And gold, I can see some scenarios. What I'm saying is
you could use Liquid for that if you wanted to.
But I don't know how to. I don't know where
or
it
like,
is. Maybe
it looks like you'll be able to use Lightning for that pretty soon too. But I mean, why? I don't even think stable coins. I think stable coin, is like the short-term little phenomenon. Like, because who needs a trusted third-party version of a shitty money?
That's true. And
your sats are my stable coin.
I love like telling you shit I've never done. I've never ever once used or held Tether. Ever.
Neither have I. Ever. Not a single time.
Oh, interesting.
Not ever once. Never.
Imagine me putting that on Twitter.
Never. And the funny thing is, I've defended the shit out of it. Like, if you go back, there's
me too.
There's a million different threads with me arguing Bitfinex and all of his people, like about Tether or whatever. I would never use it. I have never used it. But I understand, especially in past years and for the next year or two, why it could be very useful for people to have dollars like outside of the regulated system. What people don't realize is that's the value prop. Like, I don't really understand the value prop of like a regulated Tether competitor that has to deal with all the same regs as like a bank will, or like some of them don't have to yet. There's like this little middle ground, but they're going to. It's going to be the same as like bank fiat. So I don't understand that advantage, but I kind of understand like the black market cash of Tether advantage. But then you run the risk of third party risk, right? You have to trust you have to trust Tether, and the guys that are running it, that there's actually money in the bank. And that's not, the whole reason I Bitcoin is the opposite of that trust, right?
Yeah, no, and I'm with you. But if I went on like River, which I don't use, but if I went on River and they had Tether on there, I'd be okay with that. And I think I would be okay if they had Monero, but nothing else. There's literally nothing else. But it wouldn't bother me. Monero doesn't bother me. Like Mr. Hoddle gives some shit about like Monero. I'm like, it's the one that doesn't bother me. And I like feel this pressure. Maybe I should admit, like it's a shit coin just to like appease people, but it doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me, and I get why people would use it. You're fucking tweeting. See, I can tell your eyes are distracted, and then I get an alert on my phone.
First, so I did a response tweet. Rival photos. So you're saying you wouldn't mind Tether? You wouldn't mind Tether or Monero?
No, that's way worse. I've got my eyes fucking shut.
I know. I did the reverse. I did the reverse to you.
That's way worse. Go fuck yourself. Tether doesn't bother me. I don't use it. Monero doesn't bother me. They don't bother me. The thing is, I tell you what's funny about Ethereum. Let me talk to you about Ethereum. Ethereum doesn't bother me probably in the way it bothers you. I still think it's junk, but it doesn't bother me in the way it bothers you. So I look at Ethereum and I'm like, I don't care that it exists. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to buy it. That to me is Vegas. It's just, that is Vegas. Not like other shit is. Like fuck Dentacoin and fuck all these altcoins. Like they're all stupid. Don't make any sense. I think the thing about Ethereum is like, you go in there knowing it's a casino. You leave knowing it's a casino. If you make some money, good. If you don't, then so be it. Like
my problem with Ethereum,
I'm less bothered about
is that like Ethereum set up like everything that was wrong with this industry, and they normalized it, and they like created this concept. And at the same time as they did that, they came at Bitcoiners and Bitcoin.
That's different.
And there was this whole flippening narrative and bullshit, and they pretended like that we were the toxic maximalists, and that is like the most annoying little bitch behavior ever. It doesn't have to be, on a personal basis. If someone that you grew up with was doing that to you, you would not have that. Like, I'm not cool with that. I don't care. You can't be taking shots at me and then pretend like I'm the asshole. Like what the fuck is going on there? Like that's ridiculous. And at the same time, shit's trending to zero. So, and they like to play their little scarcity games, and they're fucking doing it again. They did it. Yeah. They did it. They did it with the DAO. They did it with ICOs. They did it with the Ice Age, and now they're doing it with ETH too. They like to play these games where they do these centralized lockups to try and pump the price and dump on plebs. Like that is the MO that they do, and they've continued that MO, and they've normalized that MO.
Yeah, but like I think all the people in there know it's happening. They accept it as well.
No. The majority of people are victims. And same with Ripple. Really? The majority of people are victims. No,
Ripple's different. They are victims. It's Stockholm syndrome.
Ripple is the extreme. That's why it's so funny when we have people like Vitalik talk down to the Ripple guys, right? Is because it's the it's the extreme machination of what Ethereum's doing. Same with like EOS, something like EOS, right? Like they just did everything that Ethereum did, but they just took it to 11. They just took it to the next. It's like the cartoon version of what Ethereum did.
Can I tell you my EOS story?
Sure.
So back early bull run, 17, making some good money. Things are going well. I'm out in San Francisco. I meet this guy who runs this hedge fund. and he's like, "Do you want to come and help us trade some shit?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Okay, can you go meet this guy? He's got this thing called EOS they're interested in." So there's this guy invested in EOS. So I go to this fucking hedge fund. Yeah, beautiful offers. And I'm in there. And EOS is at like, what was it? It was like 45 cents. And I'm in the room and he's like, "We've got massive plans for this. It's going to be huge. You should invest in it." He's like, "I'm buying as much of this as I can." So anyway, so I leave. Bear in mind, I'm trading all kinds of shit. So I put $20,000 into EOS at like 45 cents. It goes up to 55 cents. And I'm like, sweet. It drops back to 50 and I shit myself and I sell the lot.
And then it went to like $16 or something.
No, dude, it went up to $22. Fucking $22.
Wow, this podcast
I'm so
is
glad
almost
I'm
called
out.
what EOS did.
No, I'm so glad I'm out of that all that bullshit. Like, it's just not worth it. But that guy made a lot of money.
No, I mean, and look, and that's one of the things I learned last cycle.
How's a whiskey?
This whiskey is delicious. Thank you again. Is that
You're welcome.
it doesn't matter if long term you think these things are going to be scams. The market could be really irrational in the short term. And like in hindsight, should have bought the Ethereum ICO, right? Like I'd be living on a citadel somewhere, just like
in hindsight, knowing
Novo
everything,
levels,
would you?
just going fucking ham.
Yeah, but would you?
What?
Would you now?
I don't know.
If
I didn't
Ethereum
do
was to
it.
come out tomorrow, if Ethereum was to come out tomorrow, knowing everything you know, and you thought it would go from like pennies to hundreds of dollars, and you could turn $1,000 into $1 million, would you do it?
Yeah, but that's not like I probably miss it again, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, but miss it because you think it's a poor investment, or miss it because of the Matt Odell morality?
Oh no,
because I'd buy the shit out of it.
So what I've learned is you take morality out. It's what matters is how much sats you get.
You fucking shitcoiner.
Morality shouldn't decide your investment. Morality should decide if you promote an investment to people. But by all means, secretly have a bag of some immoral shit, because if that immoral shit pumps, like you should get your take, right? Like it's like don't hate the player, hate the game, right? But don't at the same time don't go out there and promote their unethically, fail to disclose trade-offs, fail to disclose that you think this thing's going to go down to zero. That's where you can go fuck yourselves. Crypto assets.
This book.
Like there's no shame there, right?
It's by this guy Chris Beniski.
Yeah, it was the template for last cycle.
I've actually
the tome.
I got a few of them.
Why do you have so many of them?
I bought 3 of them to give away as competitions and never did. I fucking just put 3 of them up here.
They're iconic.
He unfollowed me on Twitter for being mean about shitcoins. Pissed him off with that. So basically, you're admitting you're a shitcoiner. You're an ethical shitcoiner.
No, I just in hindsight, like I just wish I got some sats off of that fucking trade.
Dude, my 2 best trades ever. I'm going to tell you right now, my 2 best trades ever. ETH. So when I got back into Bitcoin, early 2017, went on to Coinbase, bought a bunch of Bitcoin, and there's this thing called Ethereum that was at $9, and I bought it and I sold it at like $200. Made a shitload. My best ever trade, fucking ever, was XRP.
I don't want to hear it.
No, because this is totally understandable and ethical. In that,
I mean, you're admitting to trading an illegal security.
Well, it wasn't illegal security back then. So, listen, what happened is I'm literally a month back into cryptocurrencies. I buy fucking everything. Yeah. But this is where unit bias works. And my friend was like, "Oh, you need to get this thing called XRP." I'm like, "Where do you get it from? Like Gate Exchange or something?"
Yeah, Gate.io.
And I go on and buy it.
Them.
Yeah, something like that. And it was like something like 0.005 cents an XRP. I put $500 in, and I sold it a few months later for $30,000.
Yeah, I mean, look,
Like,
there's a
absolutely
bar.
killed
I
it.
wouldn't. I don't think I'd ever trade something like that. But I don't know. Maybe I would.
What if you get more sats?
You know, life's short. Like you gotta be able to look your grandkids in the face. Pete, it's
So
been an hour here. We've mostly talked about price and shit coins. Can we talk about something that matters?
well, they all matter. What do you want to talk about? Like, I've got a list here.
Well, I mean,
What's the
shit coins don't. And price is, what do we care what it's priced in shitty money?
Do you want to talk about Taproot?
No. Well, we could talk about that next year, how we're looking forward to it getting activated.
I've told him to. I've just said, look, come on.
Do you think
activate
Taproot will be activated by this time next year when we do our 4th annual special?
Yeah, I've told him.
Should
to do
we
it.
bet?
I was like, come on. I
have a
guys,
bet with
come on.
Marty for 1 million sats. The loser has to pay HRF 1 million sats, and I said Taproot's not going to get activated by this time next year.
What's 1 million sats?
Well, now, but at the time it was like $80, and now it's $280.
Okay, I bet you 10 million sats it is.
No, I'm not gonna. Fuck that. That's a lot of money.
I tell you what.
I would prefer if Taproot gets. I'd prefer if Taproot gets activated.
See that bottle you've got in front of you now?
Yeah.
I bet you that. So you get me that if it.
Yeah. Okay. I'll do that.
Yeah.
A Glenfarclas single malt Scotch whiskey, aged 25 years.
I will bet you that it's going to be activated. I told them.
Like
I was
Taproot
come on,
is
guys.
Live.
Yeah, like I said,
New Year's Day, January 2022.
I said to them, I was like, come on, guys. I approve this. Let's get this shit live. And I don't know why it isn't. I told them to do it. And I was like, Polstra, Peter, I approve it.
Yeah, Look, 100%. I would happily buy you this bottle to have Taproot.
I have literally no idea what. If I got interviewed now and they're like, what's Taproot? I'd be like, it's like something.
Well, I thought you reviewed the code.
Yeah, I did. And I'm like, I'm okay with it. But I still don't know what it means. There's this other thing, EDCDA or something, like some like curve, which gives us cryptography. And it's not as efficient as Schnorr, but we couldn't use Schnorr before because this Schnorr dude was a greedy fucker and he painted it. But like that's not run out, so now we can use it. So it's ready. That's my Taproot. That's everything I know about Taproot. It's ready to go. Everyone's shitting themselves. They got PTSD from Segware. They think if I do this and I fuck this up, it's on me.
The Taproot chill in 30 seconds is it's heavily reviewed. There's broad consensus that it's an improvement for Bitcoin. It makes multi-sig both cheaper and more private, and it will give us a major stepping stone to better improvements. It's like it's a nice setup for things we can do in the future. So yeah, I hope to see it over this next year, but I think my real guess is like March 2022, somewhere around there. So like 15 months, 16 months, something in that range.
I think Taproot affects 50% of Tales from the Crypt listeners, and I think it doesn't affect 98% of what Bitcoin did listeners.
Yeah. The majority of our listeners over at Tales from the Crypt are probably deciding like whether or not they should have kids based on Taproot activation. Like they're like,
yeah.
Well, I would really like to, have the kid at like 3 months after Taproot activation. I feel like it'd be the proper time. We'd be more ready and prepared for it.
Yeah, see, what Bitcoin did listeners, they listened to the one with Polstra. They listened to him for an hour, talk about it, and then me go, what the fuck are you on about? And they went, yeah, I agree.
But I mean, I think it's a very, very obvious path for us to take, and I hope to see it get approved, and I hope to be buying you a bottle next year. In worst case scenario, you buy me one. At least I
would buy you one anyway, bro.
At least it's going down in price versus my bet with Marty, which like I don't know what. Yeah, I don't want to go back to price talk. So what's our next conversation?
Well, no, I tell you what. Tell me about because I was going to check it out. I got a pop up on my Twitter the other day about Citadel Dispatch, and I'm like, okay, Matt's done his own thing. What's Citadel Dispatch? Tell me
Have
about
you watched it?
your show. No, I saw it pop up. I didn't realize it was a podcast. I thought it was a YouTube
It's
thing,
both.
and I was going to check it out. But I don't listen to crypto podcasts.
It's both.
I haven't listened to a crypto
It's
or
not a
Bitcoin
crypto
podcast in over a
podcast.
year.
It's a
Okay, Bitcoin podcast.
it's a Bitcoin show.
Yeah, but I haven't listened to a Bitcoin crypto podcast in over a year.
You don't listen
I
to
don't
yourself?
I don't listen to mine. I don't
Okay,
listen to anyone's.
you want to know the secret sauce? Matt Odell listens to every single show that he does.
Okay.
That's ridiculous. I don't think anyone else is. Very few are doing that. Few.
There's this actor. What's his
I
fucking
listen.
name?
Not only do I listen to all of my shows, so I can learn from them, and because I feel like if I have an audience that is listening to them, that I should also be listening to them. But I listen to all of you people's shows. So I listen to yours. I listen to Stefan's.
So you listen to more of mine than I do.
Yeah, I listen to like all the plebcasts that I fucking love, like Bit by Bit podcast. Swan Signal has been killing it recently. And I go on down the rabbit hole with Kaz. Kaz, like I did a really good show with him. So I'm very much in this space, and I very much practice what I preach. I believe that time is money. So if I'm already going into listeners' ears at least 2 hours a week with Rabbit Hole Recap, basically. I mean, it's supposed to be an hour show, but they've been trending long lately.
Actually, sorry. Let me just say, I have listened to, I think, 2 Rabbit Hole recaps in the last year, so I'm a mild liar.
There you go.
Something's
Well, I'm
come up.
glad that we have a high percentage listener count on you.
No, let me tell you why. Like, I could sound like a dick saying, "Oh, I don't listen to any Bitcoin podcasts." But let me tell you why I don't do it. I'm sure we've had this conversation before. So, there was a time where I used to listen to every show. I used to listen to Marty. I used to listen to Rabbit Hole. I used to listen to Steven. I used to listen to Citizen. And what I found I was doing is like they were influencing what I did. And I wanted to make a show I've always wanted to make a show which is about what I'm going through and what I'm learning.
But I think your show would be better if you listened to Rabbit Hole Recap and Citadel Dispatch.
I might listen to Citadel
Okay, so let me finish my show.
No, let me explain why. Then you can show the shit out of it. I found it was influencing me, so I made a decision. I was like, I've got 2 choices.
Influence you.
I learned. Well, no. I was like, I'm either going to listen to Bitcoin shows and learn more about Bitcoin to influence my show, or I'm going to listen to other shows and learn more about other interviewers and how I can be a better interviewer. And I was like, I made a decision. I'm not going to listen to Bitcoin shows. I'm going to listen to as many different shows as I can and listen to how other people do interviews and see if I can do a better interview. I don't know if it's worked. I might have fucked up, but like I don't listen, and I listen to as many shows as I can, but that aren't Bitcoin, because I don't want people listening to my show and go, "Oh, I heard that question on Stefan, or I heard that question on Marty."
So I mean, I actually do the opposite.
Want it to be.
So I listen to pretty much only Bitcoin shows now. My podcasting used to be more diversified. I used to listen to a bunch of politics and business and stuff as well. Now is pretty much all Bitcoin shows and like a few tech shows. And the reasoning is that I want to provide the listeners something different. And I want to know what the other creators, other producers out there are doing, and I want to do something different. So I was already taking, let's say, an hour to 2 hours of our listeners' precious time every week. And then on top of that, I really enjoyed going on other people's podcasts, especially these up and coming plebcasts. And there's a lot of them, and it's fantastic. Like it is, if you compare it to 2017, we have such a vital ecosystem of Bitcoin only podcasts. It's like this informal Bitcoin only network. It's fucking fantastic. So I've been doing that, and I wanted to do more. I love Bitcoin. I'm fascinated by Bitcoin. I've dedicated myself to this mission of trying to improve money and also like improve people's privacies and fight back and take sovereignty over our own lives. And I was thinking to myself, how do I do that in a way that's, not content for content, content for content's sake.
Yeah.
I wanted to give people quality for the time they spent, and that's where Citadel Dispatch was born. So it's a completely new format that I don't think anyone has tried before, and I'm very excited about it. I have
I'll
2
check it out.
episodes now. It's a live stream, but it's audio only live stream with active audience participation. So the audience has a live chat where they're in with text form and they're participating directly in our chat. That is streamed out to all people regardless of platform they watch it on. And then we drop it in the podcast feed afterwards because it's not a video first show. It's audio. It's an audio live stream. So it translates pretty well into podcast format. And we have it going into both the TFTC main feed, and then it also has its own separate podcast feed. So I think it's something unique. I think it's something special. I'm trying to do it on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern time, 2300 UTC. This week, I'm going to try 5 p.m. Eastern time, 2200 UTC. I'm trying to find the right time zone straddle so I can get as many, because the idea is 2 guests, live, rotates. But I'm not doing the traveling roadshow Bitcoin guests. There's probably going to be like 35.
Then you should have me.
There's going to be like 35, 40 guests that are like recurring, like it's like the boys, and like they're like guest hosts, and I'm bringing them in, and we're going to be rotating them around. So I'm just trying new things, trying to change it up, trying to do something different, connect directly with our audience. And it's fun. It's been 2 weeks now. I officially get to say I started in 2020. And I'm really excited for this next year. And that's citadeldispatch.com for all the links.
When do you want me on?
We'll figure it out, Pete. I gotta find it.
When do you want me on?
Right now, I've
Nobody invites me on their podcast.
Pete, there's specifically there's been a gap in technical shows. So that's been the gap that I've been trying to leverage. But
Marty doesn't invite me on. Stefan doesn't invite me on. No one invites me on their podcast.
At some point, we'll do a non-technical show, and I will have you at the top of the list.
No, nobody ever invites me on their podcast. It's really, really sad. I have everyone.
I've literally only had 2 episodes of my new show.
Yeah,
Pete.
Wow, I've had you on like 8 of mine. Fucking.
You're welcome.
Nobody asked me what. Do you know what
Have
the funny
fun
thing
staying
is,
poor,
right?
Pete.
I was like, I was like, why doesn't anyone invite me on? I did a couple of recent. I was like, I'm fucking terrible answering questions. I did this show with this dude the other day, and he was like asking me about Bitcoin. I was answering, and he was like, "What's the blockchain?" I was like, "Shit, how do I explain this?" And I actually realized I fucking don't know shit, and I think my show works because I don't know shit. I'm constantly saying like, "Just explain it to me. Just explain it to me," and they do. Not because like. I'm like thinking I literally don't understand it. If it's creative, I've got it. I'll crush anyone in Bitcoin on creative and marketing. But when it comes to the technical, I was like, it's like a building that you're building floors on, and every time you build a floor, you cryptographically protect the previous floor. And then I was like, I don't know how the fuck to explain. I don't know, man. Listen, you keep your technical show. You keep your technical friends. I don't need to be on your fucking.
Well,
I don't want to be in your Citadel. Fuck your Citadel.
dude, first of all, before I'm inviting you on Citadel Dispatch, I expect you to actually fucking watch the show, bro.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
I think it would make you a better Bitcoiner. I mean, stay humble, man. I think it will help. I think it'll be a useful show. That's why I do it. If I didn't think it would help people, I wouldn't do it.
Dude, I know you'll crush it. Listen, if I listen to that, I know I'm going to listen to everyone. You did did you have NVK on the first one?
Yeah, so I had Rodolfo and Evan Kaludis, the first one, and we talked about self-custody, and then the second one, we talked about privacy and KYC with Ergo, BTC, and Bitcoin Q&A. 2 NIMs.
That's reminded me. I need you for something. That's just reminded me.
Are we going to do it live or?
No, we're not going to do this. I've got it on my spreadsheet here.
You can
I've got my
remind me.
spreadsheet here. So you've listened to Defiance.
That's
You
ridiculous
know how I
that
like
Brad
making...
Garlinghouse is behind you, by the way. You just keep staring at me. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Well, you know that picture always changes,
Yes.
right? That was,
Yeah, it was,
it's been Ian Bellina.
Last year was Ian Bellina.
Last year was Ian Bellina. I think I've had Richard Hart. I had, what's his name? What's the Mazzari guy? Ryan Selkis. I changed it today. I changed it yesterday because I did the interview with the Mooch.
I feel like it doesn't
So I
matter
swapped it
which
for
month
Brian.
it is. Ryan Selkis is always like boldly going into Zcash. This just keeps going down. Like, why do you keep doing it to yourself, bro? Why do you keep doing it to
By
yourself?
the way, I saw your clock, man. I've got my clock here. I never even,
You see mine?
Yeah, I see
It's
it.
great.
I'm getting clock jealousy here right now.
People think I'm such a Rodolfo show. So what were you gonna ask me?
So I've got, you've listened to Defiance, right? You know these like mini documentaries.
Yeah, I think
we
you're
make?
doing a pretty good job with it. My lady
We're
loves
bringing
it.
them to the Bitcoin show. Well, she's got good taste. We're bringing them to the Bitcoin show. We're doing mini documentaries. Oh, we're doing them. I told you about one. Don't
Right.
really
You don't have. He's doing like a live unboxing of his block clock mini right now.
No, I'm videoing this, so the video is gonna come out. It's fucking sexy,
It's
isn't it?
so nice.
Look at the fucking presentation.
Dude, I literally have it set up right behind me.
But we got bubbles. I'll put that
You
shit.
did a
together.
good job with the packaging.
What would you rather do? Like put the clock together or play with the bubbles?
Put the what'd you say?
Do you want to put the clock together or play with the bubbles?
Dude, I like playing the bubbles are fun. So-
Okay. Back to the list. Okay. Oh god, I've got one area I want to talk about with you that you don't really talk about, and I'm well interested in your position. I think you might not want to talk about it. So we have,
No
I think you
comment.
might no comment me. So we have a pandemic at the moment, and we have some people that think it's
Oh my god, you have such
No,
shit
well-
opinions, bro.
no. Well,
gonna bring
try
me
me.
into
Try
this?
me if I've got shit
Let's
opinions.
go.
Let's actually see. Because I'm here in the
Okay.
UK at the moment, and I've friends who are doctors. I don't just like have an opinion that's shit for the sake of it. I just have an opinion that some Bitcoiners don't agree with, but I don't come out and say, "Well, COVID is real," because like I'm like some fucking lefty moron. I actually vote conservative, but I have friends who are doctors work in the hospitals, and I phone them first, right? So we have a situation in the UK. Definitely right now, our hospitals are very much overrun. There are some serious issues with hospitals with people with COVID. And then people are like, oh, it's fucking bullshit. People aren't dying. I'm like, yeah. So the one thing is that I've spoken to my friends that are doctors, and they're like, yeah, the thing is, we know how to save people from dying. But the thing is now, where people will come in and they die after a few days, they're now surviving because we know how to save them. But that means rather than dying after a few days, they're in hospital for 2 weeks. And when we have a big influx, we've got a hospital fucking full of people. And our issue is we're running out of staff because normally have normal staff levels, but staff are off sick because they've got COVID, and we're running out of beds. All rational explanations about what is going on. Totally get it, totally agree. Go on to Bitcoin Twitter and it's like, it's a fucking pandemic. It's come from China to destroy our money. Like, and I hear this complete other side, right? I never see you chip into this. I just don't see you chip in. You never chip in. And I think, no, I'll let you answer and then I'll tell you what I think.
My public personality is a Bitcoin only public personality. Take a lot of pride in trying to avoid that topic, avoid politics. I try and avoid all of these exterior topics as much as possible.
Butler.
I think people don't
Do you wear a mask?
value my opinion necessarily on those topics. So I focus on Bitcoin.
I value your opinion.
Like Bitcoin is my main focus, and I try and not have any kind of noise or distraction there. I mean, as far as COVID goes, I've been forced to basically have a public opinion about it because of Rabbit Hole Recap. I mean, we've been doing a weekly show all throughout the pandemic, and let's the pandemic has been the number one the number one thing on everyone's mind, to a point where in the early rabbit hole recaps, I love you, Marty, but Marty was, extra focused on it, but it was very hard for us to have episodes where, the beauty of rabbit hole recap has always been as hyper Bitcoin focused, and there was episodes where it was leaking in like pretty hard, and like we were having large, Corona conversations. All I know is my own personal experience, and my personal experience dictates.
Didn't you have a friend who got sick?
It was being broadcast. Yes, but it's being. I had a younger friend who died from Corona, but my personal experience is that living in New York, it was being broadcast that New York was like getting like hit like insanely hard, and really in practice, we never had any hospitals being overrun or anything. But the way the national media was kind of reporting it was they were reporting it like we were, like DEFCON 7 or something, like we were just like completely fucking overrun. And that, that really hit home to me pretty hard. At the same time, I've always been very strong on personal responsibility and personal sovereignty. And to just see all these rights just get trampled on, and to see these businesses that have been open for years, decades, and built these small businesses all get fucking wrecked, kills me inside. And you have to question: is the
cure worse than the symptom? Yeah.
Right. Are the things we're doing worse than what it is? And I think they clearly are. And I think it is, my people are always the people that are protesting. Like, I don't care which political side you are. The side that's saying this shit is fucked up and I want some answers is usually my side on either side of the aisle. And in this case, it happens to be the people that are pushing it back against COVID right now. About the COVID response. And I think it's never been more clear how corrupt our governments are, in that we have these small businesses getting forcibly destroyed while you have major businesses like the Walmarts of the world that are allowed to stay open, that are hitting new all-time highs. Amazon has never done better.
But let me throw something in there.
Then they do these rescue packages. Right. 1 second. They do these rescue packages. That benefit all their wealthy counterparts. They benefit the people that are holding their money in real assets, in equities and real estate and Bitcoin and gold. And they just fuck over the little guy. Like if politicians were really sincere about we're all in this together, then they should have just been printing money directly into our pockets. Like, I don't agree with that concept, but if money will be printed, it should be distributed equally to everyone directly with as little corruption as possible. And we have seen the exact opposite of that. So to me, it's a major wake up call, and you have these governments have historically, in combination with corporations, used fear to take away our rights, and it is happening. And once you start criminalizing protests and criminalizing association with people and criminalizing operating your business, it's bad, man. It's bad, and people need to fucking push back. Like, that's what it comes down to. And so do I think like that Corona doesn't exist, that it's a fucking no, I think it's way simpler than that. I think people fucking suck. Our organizations were not prepared for this type of thing. Thank God it wasn't worse than it actually was. And they went from horribly not taking it seriously, masks don't work, go to Chinatown, go do your thing, to the exact opposite. And there was no middle ground. There was no nuance. There was no critical thinking. There was no whatever. And now they're just trampling on our rights and trying to pull as much money out of us.
I'm glad it's not worse, but I think if it was worse, it would have been easier. It's because it's like this gray area where
I mean, a lot of people would have died. Like if it was as bad as they made it seem it was in April or whatever.
Yeah, but
Like we would have
yeah.
got fucked. We would have wrecked. We would have got absolutely destroyed. Like people would have like. Would you remember? Like people were believing, like credibly at one point that like people were just dying in China. They were just like falling.
Yeah, but they were showing
street.
videos of it. So
They were just like
like
collapsing.
I always
And,
try
like-
and be practical about this stuff, Matt. I try not to be left, not to be right, just see all the information, try and be practical. So what was the information we were dealing with back then? So we know about this condition that's happening in China, and what do we see? We see hospitals overrun. We also see the Chinese government building hospitals as quickly as fucking possible, and we see videos of people collapsing in the street. Now, the videos of people collapsing in the street look scary. Now it's just like, well, why hasn't it happened anywhere else in the world? But at the time, it kind of looks scary, right? Then it moves to other countries, and we see Italy very quickly locked down, very quickly having problems. Now, if you're anywhere in the world and you think there's a virus that anyone can get, and like people are just fucking dying, I think it's understandable for people to be slightly scared back in April, because every bit of information you're getting is that people are dying and this is scary. Now it's different. Now it's totally different.
But the difference is in April, I was responding to a perceived risk that I thought was going to affect myself,
Yeah.
my family, my business, and my friends. And I was responding personally how I saw fit. And I saw failure in government to respond. And then it was the exact opposite. Now it's their will is being forced on us. And it will continue. Like these things don't go away. They don't disappear. And this idea that we're just going to normalize that like to travel, I got to show papers.
I get all this.
Or that they can just close a protest at will, or that I'm not allowed to meet up with 10 people in New York City inside. Otherwise it's a crime. Is fucking crazy. It is insane. And people need to fucking push back. Like, they're not gonna give a shit. They're not. The small businesses are getting fucking destroyed.
I'm with you, 100%.
Absolutely destroyed. No one's gonna give them shit unless they fucking
No.
stand up.
Listen.
You know,
Like,
they have.
look, I don't disagree with anything you're saying, and I try and take both sides, which is really difficult in the Bitcoin world. When you try and take both sides to understand what the middle ground is and where people are, it's very difficult because you just get called a cuck and a fucking status and whatever. But like, I think if you're trying to do some form of journalism, it's important to do it right. So I don't disagree with most of what you're saying, but then I look and I go, okay, every single country in the world is dealing with this problem. You have places like Australia that have dealt with it very harshly in a way that Americans would not accept, where they're literally forcing people to stay in their homes and they've kept the transmissions low. We have places like the UK and the US a little bit more like, okay, we're not going to be as harsh. We've had massive transitions.
Well, it's worse by you. Than
Yeah,
by
well,
me.
look, US has very high death rate, very high transmission rate. We have in the UK, I don't care what people say, we have a real problem with admissions in our hospitals at the moment. Our hospitals are full. It's not just something that's when people go, you listen to mainstream media. No, it's not. I've spoken to my friends who are doctors in hospitals. They're like, no, we're fucked. Our hospitals are not. They're saying it's not only our hospitals are full. Normally we have hospitals full at this time of year, but we have less staff available because we're testing them and they're infected, so we can't have them in. Like, if we just let this go, we just say we're not going to do anything. It's just that we're going to have like a really high, much higher transmission rate than we have now. And I always say to people, like, just what is your answer? Just give me your answer. Like, I know mine, but I'm saying, what is your answer? People complain about the decisions that government make, and I accept it and understand. And a lot of it is fucked up. But like, what is your answer? What would you do differently? And I think a lot of people struggle with that.
Life has risks.
Oh, no, I'm with you.
Life has risks. We have risks
I'm with
every
you.
day. You know, people, you get hit by cars. Like, people just die,
But we have,
man.
but
Like this idea is like, it's a super fucking coddled mentality. This idea that we should just shut down the world.
I'm not saying shut
economy.
down. I'm not saying shut down.
Over a disease that appears to not be as, deadly as it was first perceived. and I don't think that these measures substantially slow down shit or improve shit, and they make everything way worse. If you're a restaurant and you're operating and we had no restrictions whatsoever, you're going to be operating at way reduced capacity anyway. Like, people practically just aren't going to go out and eat. They'll be less likely to go out and eat. The only people that will do it will be the people that assess that risk. We don't need these dictations from above that decide, whether or not you can run your business, and at the same time still keep charging us taxes, still keep fucking diluting all of our money and feeding it into massive corporations and big pockets. It is fucking insane. Yeah. It is ridiculous. It is absolutely
most
ridiculous.
Of what you say,
and the argument is science.
Yeah,
Fuck
I know.
you,
I know.
man.
Listen. Look, I don't disagree with you entirely.
This was not a reasonable response. This was not like a logical, reasonable response.
I don't disagree with you entirely, and people listening will be like, "Yeah, Matt's fucking brilliant, Pete. You're a cuck." But like, I'm trying to frame it for the sake of making it a worthy debate, right? So if anyone's listening, I don't 100% disagree with Matt. I think the response back in March, April, I kind of get it. We were fed videos of people collapsing in China, hospitals overrun, hospitals being...
The people that would be eating dinner at the restaurants that are not allowed to serve them are going over to their friend's house and seeing them anyway, and instead they're a criminal. No, Matt, they're criminalized.
Matt, you're missing my point.
It's not actually productive. There's no productive
No, but you're missing my point. My point is, we have governments, and governments have public health departments who try and protect the health of the public. Whether you agree with it or not, all I'm saying is they exist. Back in March, April, we were shown videos of people in China collapsing on the street. We were told about the scary virus. We were shown China building hospitals. Then it went to Italy, and the exact same happened again. I understand why governments reacted quickly and went, holy shit, there's something happening. It's a pandemic. We need to deal with it. I get why back in March, April, there were issues, and it's we need to deal with this. I think now it's entirely different. We know a lot more, things have to change, but we are, whatever you think about it, forget the US, I'm just on about the UK right now. We have a higher hospitalization rate now than we did back in April, but we also, it just exists. So all I would be saying to people is
do you know anyone who's had serious COVID symptoms?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, a friend of mine, her dad died. Yeah, I do. Yeah, right. But fuck it. That's, anyone can have that. I'm sure a lot of people have. You had a friend die. My point being is, I don't care about that. When people go, do you know? It's an irrelevant question to me. What I care about is my friend who's been on my podcast. He's a doctor. What's going on with you? And what he told me in April, he was he cried on my podcast. And then I spoke to him a few weeks ago. He was yeah, it's not as bad as we first thought. He's telling me that. But what he's saying to me, and it's the guy I spoke to.
Yeah, but in a lot of ways, people are acting like it's worse now than they were acting in April.
Maybe.
It's people are being unreasonable. People need to be slapped sometimes, and just told, snap the fuck out of it. Stop being
No, I don't
ridiculous.
disagree. But I spoke to a really interesting conversation I had with this doctor working out in Minnesota, and he said the big thing is now people are saying, oh, not as many people are dying. He's what's happened is, from the first outbreak to now, is we have learned about how to treat people. So we had certain death rate, and now we have a much lower death rate because we know to give them this, to turn them on the side, to give them this drug. We know how to save people from this now. But he said the problem is that people used to die in a few days and they'd be gone. Now they're surviving, but they're in a bed for 2-3 weeks. So what we have to do is we have to put them in a bed and look after them for 2 or 3 weeks. Therefore, our hospital is filling up with all these people, and we've also got staff on low morale who've been working all year. And then if a staff gets infected, they can't work in hospital. This, I don't think COVID is as bad as the original thought was in terms of people dying, whatever. I just think hospitals have just got a tough time managing this. The number of people coming through the door, and then those people coming through the door and looking after them and just making sure they're like looked after. I think the problem we have is that the government is treating it like it was in the original outbreak, like it is now, and we have all these people who are like they can't run the company.
No, the problem, Pete, the problem is the incentives are fucking broken. Okay, the incentives are broken, and the people in charge realize they can take more power and they can take more money if they continue whatever the fuck path they want to continue here, and they have the ability to continue.
Well, let's work
that
through
path
that. Let's work through
because of this virus. And wait, no, that's the situation we're in right now. Like it is way bigger than this fucking virus. Like people don't realize what we're looking at. Like in New York City is my home. It is. And it's getting decimated. And it's all self-inflicted. It was a lack of reaction in the beginning, and then an overreaction to now. And we have small businesses that are just completely fucked. There'll probably be like 10% of restaurants will survive in New York City. At the same time, the government says that landlords can't evict people, so they create a situation. And then they fuck over downstream at the same fucking time. So there's this hidden risk in New York. This is just my own city. This is what I know, right? This is what I focus on is what I can touch, what I can feel, what I've lived. And we have residential tenants that are residential people that can't afford their rents, and we have retail people who can't afford their rents, and we have eviction freezes. So you have this whole huge ticking time bomb that's going on in New York City right now, and de Blasio will be gone. Our mayor will be gone by the time all this fucking shit blows up in everyone's faces. The senators will be gone by the time all this shit blows up in their faces. And so at the same time, they're just enriching all their cronies. Let's just enrich all our cronies. No one gets any fucking, rescue packages for being told you can't operate your fucking business. This is fucking, it is way bigger than this virus impact at this point. And at the same time, why isn't like a city like Miami just completely destroyed? Why isn't it a city like Dallas? We had, call us irresponsible. I went down to Dallas for a Bitcoin conference in August. 200 people went down there, all, self-selecting, not taking it as seriously as our government say that we should be taking it. And we had no serious repercussions. Like, why?
Yeah, but you can't.
Miami absolutely destroyed. Like, Miami's literally right now just welcoming every single person in the United States that is like, I don't want to take this seriously, and they're booming. They're fucking doing great. Their economy is doing better than it's ever fucking done before. Pomp is like retweeting their fucking mayor, who's like fucking.
But I don't think, Matt, like
you saw today. You tweeted out. You were like, I'm gonna move.
Dude, that was
all of fucking Bedford to Miami. Yeah, fine. But you guys both played off the engagement in the middle of a supposedly a bad, dangerous
that was
pandemic.
A joke.
Where Miami is not doing anything, and they're not closing any businesses, and they're doing fucking fantastic.
Firstly, that thing with the mayor was a joke, and he reached out to me. I was like, dude, that was a joke. I think if you thought it was like Bedford in Massachusetts. Okay, look, I have to take.
He's gonna get everyone visas in Bedford, England.
I have to take what will be. Everyone listen to this. If it's your audience, it will be the unpopular position. If mine, it might be like, I see what Pete's saying. But I've got to say the unpopular position. Just because 200 people went to a thing in Dallas and not much happened doesn't mean COVID isn't serious. Okay, it just doesn't mean that. Because we know that the people...
But then why isn't Miami, overloaded?
I don't know. I'd have to look at the numbers and situations. All I know is the most open country in the world for dealing with COVID. The one that's like being the most open-minded is the US, and I've got it here on the numbers, and today so far 3,400 have died. Now, some people were challenged and go, well, they're not, blah blah blah.
With everything that we've done, we've destroyed our fucking economy.
But they're different. They're different points. Died. They're different points, and I think you have to balance the two. I just think there are some people who don't want shutdowns, and then will then make out like COVID isn't real. I think it's important to just have them both and go, COVID is fucking real.
But that's a straw man.
Not
that's
really.
a straw man to say COVID. Dude, look, I was screaming off the rooftops saying that people should take it more seriously, that they should be prepared, they should get
but that's
ready,
the point I'm
right?
making.
But at the same time, I thought it was inconceivable that citizens of Western countries would allow a Chinese-style lockdown.
No, these are different points.
In their cities. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, that I'm supposed to just accept that.
No.
You know, like that.
You're missing the point I'm making. I absolutely believe COVID is real. What I'm saying is there are people who are using the word plandemic like this was some big fucking plan, and I think that's irresponsible wording because they're basically saying every government in the world is agreeing on the strategy despite the fact they all hate each other because they want to control the people. And listen, look, this is the pandemic is no use to the British government. They're most likely going to get voted out because of this. It's a fucking disaster for them. It's a fucking disaster for...
No, but them and their cronies are doing well.
Maybe
They're
some.
making money.
Maybe some. But
money's being made, Pete.
Of course, because money always is, whether it's honest or dishonest. This pandemic cost Donald Trump the election. He was a shoo-in for a re-election. He has a pandemic. It's fucked. All I'm saying is, I don't believe there are governments around the world going, oh, this pandemic's useful for us. We can get more power. It's a fucking nightmare for them, okay? I don't think it's useful.
Well, I mean...
I just don't think it is. I think most governments who were sat there stable...
I mean, Trump positioned himself... However you feel about Trump positioned himself as like anti-pandemic.
Of course he did, because he's Republican and moral foundations are different.
So maybe... But maybe if he leaned into it, he would have been elected.
Maybe.
Re-elected,
My point being is, I don't think it's a plandemic. I think that's a poor term to use. I don't think it's as bad as people made out. All I'm trying to say is, with this situation, is that when people make out like that, there are people who are making out like this isn't real. Like, oh, 99.8%, 99.7% of people survive. Yeah, well, it wasn't like that at the start. They've learned how to treat people. Also, there are people having long-going conditions. Now, I'm not disagreeing that a new strategy is required. I'm just saying let's not pretend it isn't something that exists. And if it is, we understand, let's just try and come up with a scenario that works. But it must be extreme left, therefore it's terrible. Everyone stay at home and nobody go out and destroy business. Or it must be extreme right. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Let's not wear a fucking mask because this is the government control. I'm saying neither of those work. Those both extremes are terrible.
But my point is, it's not a coincidence that the working class is the ones taking the burden.
I just think it's never a coincidence that they are.
It is really fucked up. What we've watched happen.
Yeah,
is
but
really
don't you think that happens in any scenario?
It is basically the you know, it is the book. It's the playbook for how if you wanted to like try and make your society more authoritarian from
okay. Let me ask you something.
Like, how would you do it? And that's we're watching it happen. We're watching it happen in real time. I have buddies in Australia that are like, I was hoping to visit the United States. I don't know if I'll be able to in my life.
Yeah, let me ask you a different question, Matt. So, you say the working class are getting fucked. I absolutely agree. It's happening here. But do you think the working class are getting fucked because the cronies are there going, fuck this, let's fuck... Or do you think it's just because... No, but bear with me. Do you not think it's just the structural flaws in the system, which is the reason we're Bitcoiners, in that they get to make the rules, they get to make the rules for their friends, and rich people...
No, I think they pushed it too far. I think there's a balance. Like, you can be a crony fucking politician, but like you can't fucking like destroy people's livelihoods.
But when have they ever cared before?
You have to take like a tasteful amount of their livelihood. You can't like fucking just absolutely destroy them. And they just took it to fucking 11.
I don't disagree.
They took it to 11.
Do you think that
they went fucking crazy?
No, but do you think they're sat there thinking, let's fuck it? Or do you think they've just so disillusioned, they've got no idea what's going on in the real world, that they've just fucked up because they're idiots? They're just selfish and they're fucked. Because I don't think they're sat there going, let's use this pandemic. Let's really fuck the small guy. I think what they're doing is they're trying to protect their friends, protect their own, and because of the structural problems.
Look, I don't know what's happening by you. But I know in America, like I watch small businesses get fucked like they've never
but
gotten
you're
fucked
missing my
before.
question.
It was no, but you don't understand. Like they came up with this PPP bullshit and the single stimulus check that a shit ton of people didn't even qualify for, but they also sent it to dead people. Like I watched it fucking happen. It was not good.
No, but you're missing my question.
Like, it was clearly not. They took it to another level.
Matt, listen, Matt. I can easily, especially if I want to get the clout on this podcast, I can easily represent the same position. What I'm saying to you, like, bear with me. Like, just
you brought it up.
I did, and I wanted to hear your point, and it's good to hear. What I'm saying is, are you saying they're sat there? These people are going, let's fuck the small guy, or is it just a structural problem?
No, yeah, I honestly think that these people are fucking laughing at us.
I don't. I think they're cunts.
Yeah, they're laughing at
selfish.
us, man. They're laughing at us. They're people too. And they're sitting in their fucking room and they're fucking laughing at us and making sure that their special interests all get fucking paid before we get anything. Point. And then they have the nerve to ask us to thank them. We should thank you.
I'm with you on that. I don't think they're laughing.
You know, we're so grateful. Please get us the $600 check while you just destroy our whole fucking livelihood.
Listen, I half agree with you. I don't think they're there laughing at you. I think they're making decisions that protect their own, and they don't. I don't think it's they're laughing. I think they're so disconnected.
You're being shit-coordinated.
No, I just think they're so disconnected from that part of the world. They don't realise the implication of what they're doing. I don't think they realise and go, fuck you, that's fuck. I just think they're so disconnected that they don't give a fuck. And I think our society has been fucking coddled. Like the American mind.
My grandmother's a fucking boss. And my grandfather unfortunately passed away.
Is that your grandmother who listens? She listens to my show, doesn't she?
She does what?
Didn't you tell me your grandmother listens to my podcast? You did.
Yes, she listened to the Epstein podcast.
She said it's better than Tales From the Crypt.
Just coincidentally, just randomly,
on Facebook.
She sent it to me. She was like, Matt, you need to listen to this, and I was like, oh, that's my boy.
She found it on Facebook,
but, right? She doesn't, she's not great with tech. She's old. I don't want to say her. I don't want to dox her age, but she's doing very well for herself.
Dude, stop talking.
Age.
Stop.
She doesn't know where she found it.
Stop. No, you told me it's Facebook. But listen, during this show, we just got a new Bitcoin.
Well, I think it's Facebook.
We had a new Bitcoin all-time high.
What are we at
29,112. We did this. This show did this.
So, what was I saying? Okay,
right.
So she has a boyfriend now. She's dating.
Hold on. How old is she?
I didn't want to dox her age. She's over 90. She's
got
dating.
a boyfriend at over 90. Okay.
She's got a boyfriend who's 95 years old, who flew for the Free French.
I fucking love this.
Air Force out of Africa. He lied and pretended his age was 18. He was 16. Okay, and he was flying with 19 other young men who were all also lying about their age, basically, in shitty-ass planes, like against the Nazis, right? And restaurants were open. What the fuck is going on? Like, how did we end up in this situation where people think, like, risk doesn't exist? Like, the majority of people he met at that age died. They fucking died. Like, he was flying a fucking thing, in the 40s that we were just learning about planes and shit. Like it was experimental fucking shit in war, in ultimate fucking thing, and he fucking did it, and it fucking happened, and there's risk. There'll always be risk.
I can easily agree with you.
And we've been coddled to this point where it's like, we're trying to remove all risk whatsoever at the sake of personal liberty, and we can't do that. You can't do that.
I know.
If you do that, you take it to the full extreme, and we're fucked. We're just destroyed as a civilization. We need personal responsibility. We need individual action. You know, this is what I believe in. This is what I've devoted my life to.
I get it. Listen, agreeing with you is really easy. I can really easily go, yeah, I agree with you, Matt. This is fucking bullshit.
But you know, at least the corn's pumping.
It is. 21, 29. Like if we hit 30K in this, we did it.
Look, but it doesn't matter because I'm gonna stack sats tomorrow. I'm gonna stack sats the day after that. I stack sats yesterday.
No, it matters because I'm like,
and it doesn't
no,
fucking matter.
I've got a Lambo target price. If it hits that price, I'm getting a Lambo. I'm
gonna make fun of you.
Stay Lambo, stack sats.
I might rent a Porsche, but I will not buy a Lambo.
Stay Lambo. Rock a Porsche. Listen, like it's really easy to agree with you. I could literally just fucking agree with you. Take the easy route. I always think it's better to challenge it, to learn.
You brought this up.
And for this exact fucking reason, because it's easy to agree and then just go, yeah, that's some fucking bullshit. I think it's more important to challenge it and understand why. The most important book I've read this year is The Righteous Mind by Jonathan Haidt. I'm trying to understand why Republicans and Democrats can't agree and they hate each other. And really, two really important things that came out of that book is most people take a position and then they post-rationalize. And they take the position usually which favors their political ideology and then post-rationalize, and therefore they're not really wanting to debate, they're wanting to be right. And the second thing that's really important in that book that came out is that biologically, liberals and conservatives are quite different, and they have these different moral foundations. So, for example, liberals have a moral foundation of care harm. So when they hear about coronavirus, their first thought is, how do we stop people getting ill and dying? Because their moral foundation is care harm. Whereas conservatives' moral foundation is tradition, and therefore they care about business, so if business is being closed down. So what happens is, coronavirus happens, the liberals like, let's protect the people, and the conservatives like, let's protect the business. They're arguing at cross purposes because they have different moral foundations. Most people will just sit there, Matt. They'll just have the fucking argument and they won't figure it out. I'm literally trying to understand why it happens. So, because I think it's an important thing.
The important thing is, like, you should go fuck yourself. Like, let's be honest.
Hold on. What? I should go fuck myself and try to understand why people don't agree.
No. I'm just being extreme. I think.
Yeah, but don't you think that's interesting? Don't you think it's like interesting to understand why people don't even agree on the basic facts?
I mean, I think the American political system is broken, and this is one of the reasons why I don't talk about it, because it doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. My audience agrees with me on most of the things I talk about, and I think, and I'm pretty sure I have people who listen to me on both sides of the aisle in large amounts. Like, I think it's pretty split. And at the end of the day, I think my overarching belief is anti-establishment. Yeah. And I think the establishment is destroying the working class of my country.
And mine.
I think they're destroying the working class of the world because of our privileged position in America. And I think that transcends your political affiliation.
No, forget my...
One side more...
Forget my affiliation.
Than another side.
Forget my affiliation. I'm trying to understand why affiliations exist and why people can't even fucking agree. See, the problem is that...
people...
By the way, 29242. People in the Bitcoin world sometimes think...
Wait, 29.2... we might break 30K here.
If we do, we did it. It's us.
I'm ready.
Okay.
If we do, we're finishing this bottle.
How much you got left? I got this.
I know, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to fucking finish a full... I don't want to say how much I think this bottle is, but I think it's pretty expensive.
How much do you think it was? I won't tell you.
You can't price in sats, so if I say how much
Give me
I
in
think
dollars.
it is in sats, you wouldn't
Give me
even
in
know.
dollars.
I think it's probably about 1 million sats.
What's that in dollars? What's that in dollars?
It's $290, Pete. What the fuck are you? What industry are you in? You can't fucking price.
It's not my unit price. It's not far off.
It's like around there, 1 million sats.
Because I love you, man. I'm not gonna get you a cheap bottle. 29
I appreciate
283. I definitely owe you that. So, yeah, I think people in the Bitcoin world sometimes think when I'm trying to figure shit out, they think, oh, you're a fucking lefty, blah, blah. I'm like trying to figure out why people don't agree, why they're confused on shit. It's almost like this, like people who are anti-establishment. I'm not pro-establishment. I'm pro trying to.
Sometimes.
No. I'm pro trying to stab.
Sometimes you kind of.
Yeah, I think it sounds like that, but I'm pro trying to understand why establishment exists, and therefore when it does exist, how do we get to the point where we make certain decisions? And it might.
I think it's important that we're willing to die before getting trampled on. I think that is a line that you have to make. You just have to make that line because otherwise you're just constantly living in fear and you're just willing to get trampled on. Like your rights are just going to get destroyed. And I think that's like kind of the American way.
Which is very different from the British way. But it's very easy in Bitcoin world to take anti-establishment positions and just go, fuck the government, fuck the state, fuck the...
This is what I've been trying to be responsible.
No, bear with me. It's very easy to do that. I could do that and like get a whole bunch of people go, yeah, he's fucking fuck the... Like, it's really easy to do that. You go and listen to The Sovereign Individual and it literally talks you through how we went from basically apes to having farms to feudal to the state, and now we're in this position where we're like transitioning between state and information age. I personally care about like why we're here, why people support the state, why they don't, how we make that transition. So some people have made the leap beforehand. They've gone, fuck the state, I'm here, I'm way ahead. Fuck the state, fuck them and their fucking clothes. Like, and I'm right. No, I've got a whole bunch of friends here who love the state. They think the state's great. They understand why we have lockdowns. And I want to understand both. And I think it's a very like complicated position to take in this Bitcoin world, but I'm willing to take it because I think there's a bunch of different people. It's not an easy position to take. I get called I'm a cuck and a fucking statist and a dick sucker and a bootlicker, but I do it because I want to understand it. I've got a Breedlove interview coming up where we're going to be talking about this, and I do it because I want to understand why, because I think understanding and figuring out why.
And also it's good for engagement.
No, it's the worst. It's the fucking worst for engagement because I get fucking called a fake.
Why do you do it then, bro?
Because it's my honest position wanting to.
Bullshit.
No, I want to know why, rather than have an opinion. It's not bullshit. What advantage do I get out of being called a cuck and a fucking statist, fucking cocksucker in Bitcoin world?
I think like the extreme shit on Twitter. The lack of nuance on Twitter is good for engagement.
No, but I definitely go with nuance.
In general.
No,
well, on either side.
Well, I would disagree that I'm not. If you say I'm not nuanced, I disagree. I'm literally trying to figure this shit out. And like the US election, I did a whole series trying to sit in between Republicans and Democrats, trying to figure out why they hate each other.
It's great for engagement.
No, it's terrible. If I'd have gone, this is where you're entirely wrong. If I'd have gone entirely. Originally what
that's true. If you picked a side, it would have been best for engagement. Yeah, you were a little bit masochist.
Yeah, I went for the middle ground. Middle ground is not
right. Both sides assumed you were on the other side.
Exactly, it's not good for engagement.
Right. If you look at probably if you asked a Biden supporter, you were too Trumpy.
I tell you what, if I asked
and the Trump guys are like, you're super anti-Trump.
If you ask a Biden supporter, they'll say, look, you're wrong, but I appreciate you trying to be middle ground. If you ask a Trump supporter, they're like, you're a fucking lefty communist.
I mean, you want to know who I voted for?
I don't think you voted.
I don't think that should be public information who I voted.
I don't think you voted. If you did, I would hope it would be Joe Jordison. 29308.
No, yeah. Yeah, I voted for Joe. No, I didn't, but I would have.
29305. I didn't vote in the last.
I didn't vote
in the last U.S. election.
Shame.
No.
Shame. I voted with my wallet. I voted with Bitcoin.
Do you know what? I'm really interested in the Bellagio.
But I did vote Libertarian last. I voted for
29315.
Whoever a horrible candidate was last time.
29300. I really think the Bellagio. I'm going to send you this Bellagio presentation. It's really interesting at the moment. It's like you can vote with the ballot or vote with your feet, and actually the vote with your feet is far more effective because you vote with the
stacking sats, man. Yeah. Is it? It's it. And it's not just that. It's let's go dark across the board. Delete social media. Stack sats. Encrypt everything.
Most people can't do that, Matt.
And that's how we stand up. That's how we stand up. We stand up with action. With real action. That's what matters. All this shit, you argue with people on Twitter, you get angry at each other, you both block each other. Like, that's just all noise. It's a waste of time. Life is short. You know, how am I in a situation where I'm, you know, whether I deserve it or not, one of the largest accounts on Bitcoin Twitter, my block list is empty. I don't have a single fucking person blocked. How did that happen? How did I fucking pull that off?
Because
because I'm not focused on the bullshit. Like, why are you guys all dealing with all this bullshit all the time?
Because you take the
focus on things that are productive.
I can tell you why. I can tell you why you don't have a block list. Because you've taken a niche, and in your niche, everyone's with you in your niche.
No, people hate me. I have a lot of haters.
Who?
They love to hate me because I don't block them.
Well, I block them because they're fucking annoying. I don't give a shit.
I'm a nice person to hate because they can. They can't hate the people that are blocking.
I like people to be blocked and look at that and go, why did I get blocked? It's because you called me a dick. And go fuck yourself.
Pete. The one thing is the undeniable truth is that I consider you a close friend.
Very, very close.
I consider you a close friend. I'm honored to be
like
here.
A brother.
I would never consider otherwise. Like, I consider this our annual tradition. Yeah. I look forward to seeing you again. I think that's the most important thing that a lot of people miss.
What's the layup? What's the layup?
Well, where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is, let's stop talking about this fucking. I'm not going to say it.
No, you're going to lay through the layup. Come on, Jordan.
I was going to say, let's stop talking about this pandemic.
We stopped about an hour ago.
Talk about Bitcoin.
We stopped the pandemic ages ago.
But I actually I usually do not use that term. I think it wasn't planned. I think it was just taken advantage of. But let's talk about Bitcoin. Can we talk about something that matters? You know.
Okay. What part?
Besides, like, rationalizing what our local authoritarians are doing to us.
Have you read The Fourth Turning or The Sovereign Individual? I don't know if it's just in your.
I've read The Sovereign Individual.
So I'm about.
It's a classic. It's the.
So
Bible.
I'm halfway through. I love the first 3 chapters. The middle section's a bit fucking boring. The whole feudal stuff. Yeah, I'm skipping past that. It's a bit mind blowing, right?
I mean, it's what's happening.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly what's happening.
They were on point.
Yeah, the most interesting part of it for me is those who get it are seeing what's happening, and if it does play out that way, because we don't know, but like people who believe in it,
it's playing out that way.
Yeah, but like, does it play out the full way? We don't know.
It's been playing out, man. It's been playing out. It's like the textbook. It's basically the textbook. It's like fucking future just told.
Of course. But like, you can just go, it is going to play out that way. Okay, I 100% believe it, blah, blah. It might not. But the point being, if it does play out, I care about like outcomes, what happens. If it does play out that way, a lot of people are going to be very, very surprised. And look, I've got fucking notes. So this is the funny bit, because I'm doing an interview with Breedlove on Sunday about it. I wrote a bit down today
about the sovereign individual.
Yeah, and this is the bit where I got a little bit concerned. I think other people do, and then other people just don't give a fuck. So I think some people transition where they see transitions from historically from like an agricultural society to an industrial to information. I'm in my head going, well, if we transition to this and all money fails, like, this is going to be bloody and violent. We're not bloody and violent now. Like, you know, I don't want this to happen. And then I read this thing today, and it was like, the breakdown in the old order sees growth in crime. So there's that like reality of this fourth turning is real, like sovereign individual, this transition from industrial age to information age, which we think has happened. We think because we got Facebook and Amazon, it's happened. No, it's not happened. Clearly, the transition in information age is not corporate information. It's the individual. It's going to be bloody. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be a bit fucked. And I don't think very many people are ready for this.
So this is exactly why you should not take what your government says at face value.
No, I know that.
This is why it's super important that people start taking individual action and start taking personal responsibility. Like my action is as a sovereign individual, as someone trying to exercise their sovereign right as an individual in America, is reduced. My effect is reduced. My power is reduced if I don't have other people joining me.
Okay.
And I need people to join me. Bitcoin gives an incentive for people to join me, but I need people to join me. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so fucking vocal. And it is not a movement if it's one person. It's not a movement if it's 10 people. You need thousands. You need millions. And I think, and I said this, I'm pretty sure I said this last year, is that people will slowly wake up as things happen to them. And I think this year was like a massive wake-up call to people. I think people woke up. I think people started to realize, they're like, maybe I should start making my own conclusions. Maybe I should stop, just listening to everything that's told to me and just objectively believing it. That shouldn't be the case. Like, you should do your own research, right? Like, you should consider all the different scenarios there. And
that leap, though.
Yeah, without that, we're fucked. But I'm bullish. I can't help but be optimistic.
Oh, no, but look, listen, you're in and you got the tools. For somebody who's new, who's like, okay, so everything's a bit fucked.
But they care. People care.
No, I think, I'm with you.
They want the tools. They want to know.
I know, but that leap.
That's the important part. They don't have to be good at it. The important part is that they want it.
Yeah, but that leap from everything's a bit fucked to, okay, I need my own sovereign money. It needs to be cryptographically protected. I need to run my own node. I need to have like distributed keys, and I need to be able to run Tor, and I need it's a lot. It's a fucking lot, and that's a massive leap. And I think it's
one step at a time.
Huh?
One step.
No. I'm with you. I don't disagree with you. All I'm saying is, it's a lot. Like, I've got friends, and I even getting them to even think about Bitcoin is a massive fucking leap. I can't even get anywhere near the Matt Odell shit. It's a massive leap, and I'm not saying it shouldn't happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. All I'm saying is, like, me as an individual, as a content creator, I don't care about how it happens. I care about what happens when it happens. Like, I care about the transition. So where you're like from the position of, right, this is what you need, this is what you do, I'm going to help people. I'm more like an observationist going, like, I'm intrigued I'm fascinated by how this happens. Like, history's being written. How does this work out? So whereas you in the Industrial Revolution, if Matt Odell was in the Industrial Revolution, would have been the guy going, well, you need to get a factory, and if you had a factory, you can employ people. And when you employ people, you can build, and I would have been the guy with the printing press going, I'm going to observe this. I'm going to tell people about the transition.
But we have, Pete, we have printing presses on steroids right
I know.
now, okay? We have, network effect is our main fucking weapon. The main thing we have. In America, and even over by you, an authoritarian UK over there.
We're not that authoritarian.
We have pretty good speech rules. We can talk to lots of people, and so if you look at the bear market right now, I've probably directly impacted conservatively 7,000 people, 8,000 people, let's say. Those 8,000 people have affected 5 people each, right? They've hit 40,000 people. Those 40,000 people can hit 5 people each. Those 200,000 people can hit 5 people each. And we can slowly start turning this fucking thing around, right? That's what happens. That's how individual action happens. That's how self-sovereignty happens. Like, you have to, it's a grassroots movement. and we're making real fucking progress. Like people are starting to wake the fuck up, and that's major. That's a big fucking deal.
So how do I help? How do?
You're doing it too.
No,
I
no.
mean, you pretend you're not.
I'm
but
trying
you
to get
are.
people to get Lambos.
No, you're
No,
not.
I am.
You're not. You're the mainstream entrance.
Yeah, I'm trying to get.
You're the more ethical pump.
I'm trying. Yeah. Well, I don't have shitcoins. I'm trying to get people. I want people to get Lambos. You want them to get nodes. I wanted to get Lambos.
Pete, everyone gives you shit. A lot of people give you shit. They say to me, Matt, why do you do this
why are you
show?
friends with
Why do you
Pete?
do it? Why are you friends
He's
with
a
him?
dick.
Why am I friends with him? I don't think you're a bad. I think you're a very good actor. Like I think you mean very
I don't.
well.
I just want a Lambo.
Do you know?
What's it?
I think you're wrong about a lot of things. And
What am I wrong about?
You can learn. And we've been talking about this whole podcast.
What am I wrong about?
We've been talking about this.
Yeah, tell me what I'm wrong about.
But, I mean, we just
No,
went
but tell
through
me,
a bunch of shit
specifically.
that you're wrong about, bro.
Tell me what I'm wrong about, and then I'll tell you why you're wrong.
I was giving you a compliment.
No, but if you're gonna say I'm wrong about a lot of shit,
I retract my
yeah,
compliment.
You can't come in my Lambo.
I think you're just. I think everyone who listens to you is just wasting their time. They shouldn't listen to you. They should just listen to Tales from the Crypt, and their time would be way better spent.
When me and Pump are driving down Fifth Avenue, we'll see it. We're like, there's only 2 seats in this Lambo. Like, come on, tell me, where am I wrong?
I mean, look, your takes are wrong on COVID. We already talked about.
Well,
that.
which takes are wrong?
Okay. Your Bitcoin only happened because you were wrong about shitcoins.
Yeah, I was,
right?
and that was down to Shinobi.
You were wrong about shitcoins.
No, Shinobi was right. I admit that Shinobi.
Oh, you're gonna give Shinobi all the credit? Do I not get any credit for that?
Well, the reason I'm going to give Shinobi with credit is that he is the
You're
one.
That's a new thing.
No, way back. Like
I noticed that in the episode that you did with him.
It's
that you gave him full credit for it. I was pretty vocal to you.
A lot of people were vocal, but it's
both privately and publicly about going Bitcoin only.
Are you no? So what actually happened with
But it's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
No. Actually, let me.
I don't care.
Let me tell the story because actually you reminded me of something. You're half right. So what actually happened is I was going to Hong Kong. I had to get a flight from Boston to New York to get the flight to Hong Kong, and then I had an interview come out with Peter Risen and fucking Shinobi, and I didn't know who he was. Like, if you're in Bitcoin, you obviously know. I didn't know who he was. He was like
some random ass monkey.
Like some fucking fuck you, fuck this, and I was like, give me a break. I fly to Hong Kong, and there's no Wi-Fi on the plane. And after a 15-hour flight, and literally my phone's melting from the alerts. Fuck you, fuck this, Twitter.
Oh, we talked about this last year.
And then what actually happens? I turn around to you, and I was like, I'm thinking of going Bitcoin only, and you're like, do it. So actually, that's the fair story that happened. He started it.
It doesn't matter. I don't care
you
that
do
you're
care.
wrong about
That's
a lot of things.
That's why you raised it. I can also say you're wrong about a lot of things. I'm
wrong about a shit ton of things, but I admit it.
What? Like what?
I've been wrong plenty of times.
Like what?
People shouldn't just blindly trust me. They should verify. They should actually go through it. I don't know, Pete. What have I been wrong about?
I think you're wrong about. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. It's a tough one.
Let me know.
But I think there are positions that are very easy.
The important thing is that I admit that I could be wrong.
Well, I admit that I could be wrong. I actually changed my position.
That's good. That's good, and that's powerful. I think most people should do that.
I think there are positions.
I want most people in public situations to admit that they could be wrong, that they're not infallible, that they're not like experts.
Listen.
This idea, like, oh, I'm a Bitcoin expert. Like, fuck you. I'm not a Bitcoin expert. You're definitely not a fucking Bitcoin expert. Who the fuck do you think you are?
Why are you giving me why do you give me advice if you're not a Bitcoin expert? Like, fuck your advice.
I'm an advocate. Like, I love Bitcoin. I want Bitcoin to succeed. I use Bitcoin. I talk about Bitcoin. I want to spend the rest of my life fucking furthering this fucking mission.
We're waffling.
But I'm no expert. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, you do.
No one's an expert. There's no experts where we're at.
Matt, we're waffling.
But especially not me. I'm definitely not me.
Matt, listen, we're waffling. The point is that Your
We're waffling.
your position is a good and important position, but is an easy one to take with a bunch of Bitcoiners that I could easily take and get the pat on the back, and I don't.
So fucking do it, bro.
No,
Bullshit.
no, I don't take it.
You can't like take the high road.
No, it's
like,
not the high
I'm
road.
taking-
It's not the high road. It's not the high road.
Matt's taking the easy path. Matt's taking. I don't think I'm taking the easy
you are.
path. That's
You're
ridiculous.
taking the cool path.
You're just fucking attacking me.
You're taking the.
Nah, this is bullshit.
It's bullshit.
This is bullshit,
Hang up.
bro.
Hang up. Fuck off.
I made you a better Bitcoin podcaster.
I've made you a better human.
Stay humble, Pete.
You can't be humble with a Lambo. No, the point. The general point I'm trying to make is that there are a lot of people who want to come into Bitcoin, and I try and bridge them to what you and Marty do. Okay, so the honest truth is, you and Marty do a better job than I do. The things you're saying are more important. You're more right. But the bridge, bear with me. Going from no coiner, what's this Bitcoin, to Matt, it's a massive leap. It's like taking up 100 meters and then immediately being Olympic credible. It's fucking bullshit. You're not going to do it. I take the bridge. I'm like, just come in here. Number goes up a bit. You should care a little bit about this shit. And then I pass them on. I could not promote what Marty does and what you do anymore. I retweet every show. I tell people to sign up to the email. But like in doing that, I'm also doing what I do. I meme it. I do what El Presidente does. I do what Pomp does without the shit coins. I keep it easy and I get people in, but I pass them on. But there's no way that you think people are going to... If you think that people come in like, oh, I've heard about this Bitcoin thing. Oh, it's amazing. I should set up a node and use a Tor and use my XPubs. Fucking, it's never going to happen. You're all fucking full of shit. It doesn't happen. But what they can do is come and go, oh, look.
Wait. What's an XPub?
I still don't know. And I don't care.
Fuck you. You know exactly what an XPub
I
is.
literally don't know, and I don't care.
Fuck you.
I care about number go up.
Okay.
But
Pete,
my point being, no.
You do know what an XPub is.
No, I don't.
But let's pretend Pete doesn't know what an XPub is.
No, I don't.
The
There's no
XPub
pretending.
is your view key. It's your view key. You can see all transactions that are made. You can see all balances that are made. You can construct transactions, but you can't spend. It's just strictly your view key. That's what your XPub is. And then you have your private key, which is your spend key, which allows you to spend those funds, which you've previously viewed with your view key. So the idea is that you have your XPub, your view key, on a computer that maybe isn't secure, but is connected to the internet and it shows your balance. It helps you construct your transactions. And then you create the transaction and then you bring it to the device that is holding your spending key, your private key, and that's where you sign the transaction and then you send the transaction.
Yeah,
Pete, this is a very easy concept.
It's not. This is
overall
this is where
to understand.
This is where
and
I'll fight
definitely understand it. We know you understand it.
I don't.
And I'm glad that the listeners will hopefully finally understand it.
I will literally
based
fight
on
you
my nice, easy explanation.
No, your explanation is great. I will fight you over this. I will literally fight you to the death over this. Your explanation is brilliant to you as somebody who gets it, right? I'm just gonna explain you what actually happens into like a brain like mine, who just fucking isn't technical. I just don't get this shit. Somebody like you says all that stuff, and I'm like, at the end, I'm like, I don't know what he was on about. I just don't know what he's on about. He said a bunch of stuff. All I know in my Bitcoin is I want to buy some, I want to put it somewhere, and then when it's there, I want to be able to sell it or move it. That's all I want. That's literally all I want with my Bitcoin. And you're like, oh, you got an XPub. Well, where's my XPub? How do I access my XPub? What, like when I pledge my ledger in? Where do I get my XPub from? What is an XPub? What? Like you talk about it like it's so natural.
But you don't have to know. Like the user won't have to know what an XPub is.
Then how does he use it?
They will have their app on their computer, and they will have their device that signs.
Signs what?
The transaction.
Yeah, but like, what? I'm already signing transactions. I've got 3 wallets.
Know that it's called an XPub is my point.
Yeah, but what? But then if they don't know what it's called, what is it to them? Like, definitely
none of this matters for my audience. My audience
Yeah, exactly.
I got them on board.
Yeah, exactly.
They figured out what Expo
exactly.
was.
And I will push mine as much as I can
if
to
you
yours.
are listening to what Bitcoin did, if you're listening to what Bitcoin did right now and you're like, I don't know what an XPub is, I should know what an XPub is, because you should. Let's be honest. Tales from the Crypt. You can search in your favorite podcast app, and
It's usually under what Bitcoin did.
You'll learn what an XPub is.
This is where I will literally fight you and every technical person. You're all out of your depth.
You're full of shit because you 100% know what an XPub is.
I do not know what an XPub is.
You know enough what an XPub is. You're full of fucking shit. You're just fucking.
Matt.
This is engagement hack.
No, it's not.
Engagement hack, Pete.
No.
And I love you, Pete, but this is bullshit,
Matt.
and you know it's bullshit.
Matt, I swear, literally, I swear on my children's lives, I still don't fucking know.
Don't do this.
No, because it's the
Don't
truth.
bring them into it.
No, because it's the fucking truth. I still do not know what the fuck an XPub is. It got explained to me, and I'm like, this is the problem. This is okay. So previous,
It's your fucking view key, bro.
no. So previous career, I was a UX designer, and the reason I was good as a UX designer is I could break it down to people who want the absolute fucking.
There's a
basics.
reason it was a previous career.
No, it's a fucking successful career. It's because I'm very good at going.
That's pretty good, though.
I've based my career out of going. I don't understand this. Make me understand it. UX designer, make me understand it. Now my podcast is I don't understand. Make you understand it. I am not making up with you. I don't know what an XPub is. I still don't fucking know what an XPub is. You should see my DMs and see my emails after XPubgate.
Pete,
and
there's only
Matt,
one person's fault.
No.
There's only one person's fault there. That's you.
No, it's not.
You should know what an XPub is,
No, it's
bro.
not. No, it's not.
You should know what a fucking XPub is. Last year, I fucking was lecturing you on full nodes. This year, I'm lecturing you on XPubs.
Yeah.
XPubs is a step below full nodes. Why was we're a year wrong. We should switch it up.
No, this is where you're in the wrong. And I will stand up to you when you're in the wrong. You're in the wrong, and this is your flaw, Stefan's flaw, Marty's
It's not my flaw.
It is.
No, it's Stefan's flaw. It's definitely Stefan's flaw, but
It's
not
yours.
my flaw.
It's Marty's. It's Stefan's flaw. Your flaw
I
is
love you, Stefan.
the flaw.
Fix your flaws, Stefan.
It's all of your flaw is that you think people understand, care, have the time to figure this shit out. They just fucking don't. Oh, don't get me
Pete,
wrong. I could go and figure out.
You should know.
Why?
Fuck you, man.
Why?
Fuck you.
Why? Why should I know?
Wait.
You're drunk now.
Okay. I will 100% agree that people, quote unquote people that come into the space, maybe they don't know what an XPub is. 100%. You should fucking know, man.
Why?
Know. I know you know. I know you're just fucking with us.
No, I'm not. I swear to
It's an engagement
okay.
tactic.
2 points.
It's an
2 points.
engagement tactic. I
No.
disagree with what you're doing right now.
I can prove
and
it.
I'm the person in the Bitcoin space that will 100% call you out on this shit. Because
Okay.
that's bullshit, and
Okay.
you know that.
Okay. Is there any way of checking with all my wallets and like auditing them to see if I've used an XPub? Because if there is, you can, and you'll see, oh shit, Pete's never used it. I promise you that. Second,
You've used XPubs.
well, not without knowing.
You have
No,
used XPubs.
not without
You
second
just
note.
Don't realize.
Okay,
it.
yeah,
It's
I
in
don't
your
realize
view
it.
key.
I don't realize
No,
it.
you do realize it.
No, I don't.
But you don't realize it at the time.
No, I fucking don't.
You know you are using
Okay,
It's your view key. If you see a balance, if you see a transaction, you've used an XPub.
Okay,
Like,
so
you're there.
So I've seen a balance, and I don't know I've used an XPub. Cool. I've seen a
Why?
balance.
How, when you use a ledger, does it show your balance on your computer, but your balance isn't at risk?
I don't know. You
The
tell me.
answer is XPub.
Yeah, but I don't
That's
know.
the answer.
I
But
fucking
I'm telling
don't
you
know.
right now, Pete, stop pretending.
No, I'm not pretending.
on.
When I log into
Come
my
on,
bank
come on.
account, okay, let me put it a different way. When I log into my bank account, and
If you wanted to know what an XPub was and you didn't know what an XPub was, you could reach out to me. I could explain it to you.
No, I know
but
this.
You know what an XPub is.
No, I don't.
You understand how it fills into the flow.
I fucking
and you're just
don't.
doing this for engagement.
No, I'm
bro.
not. I'm literally not. I swear on my fucking children's lives, I would
Don't
not
do
make
that.
No,
Please
because
don't
it's the
do
truth. It's the fucking truth. I seriously have no idea. That time when I saw something, and I was like, somebody went, it's an XPub. And this is where I can prove you're in the wrong and I'm in the right. And this is why I have DMs and emails like literally bursting. People going, I don't know what this shit is. You say it because you understand it, thinking everyone knows it. They don't fucking know it. They just don't fucking know. People buy Bitcoin on Coinbase. They might get a hardware wallet and transfer it. Very, very few go and learn what an XPub is or a ZPub is or what a fucking... They just don't understand. They don't care. They don't care. When they try, they don't understand it. And you just think I'm making this shit up. No, I said to you earlier, I don't listen to other Bitcoin podcasts because I don't want to get sucked down into that rabbit hole and that echo chamber.
God forbid you figure out what a fucking XPub is.
Yeah, no. I don't do it because I don't want to be in the echo chamber that doesn't understand what the majority of the world is thinking. I don't want to do that.
The majority of the world is fucking wrong, Pete.
Sorry. No. I absolutely stand by. Okay, let me ask you this without sounding like a dick. Why do you... Okay. Okay. My show does okay. Why do you think my show...
That's
Why do you think my show does okay? Why do you think my show does okay?
Continue.
No. This is like a question. Everyone will be like, "You're a fucking dick." Why do you ask that question?
Your show does well because you actually know what an XPub is, and you pretend you don't know what an XPub is.
I literally have no fucking idea what an XPub is.
Fuck
I
you.
literally no idea. I don't fucking know.
Just so it's clear for the freaks who are listening, fuck you, Pete.
Just so it's clear for the freaks who are listening who've pretended they know what an XPub is, you can come listen to what Bitcoin did and we just have a bit of fun. I genuinely don't know what an XPub is. I just
explained it what it was to you.
No, you explained it. This is the point being. Okay, let me put it a different way. All the other podcasts...
My explanation was a clear explanation, was it not? What are you confused by?
Let me put it a different way to you. I go out there and I look at all the other Bitcoin podcasts and I think your branding shit, your marketing shit, your website shit. How is it so shit? This is easy. Look at mine. This is fucking easy. Just get your color sorted, get your spacing sorted. They're still shit. And I can go out tomorrow and I can take any podcast out there. I can make it fucking 20 times better because of marketing. Because I get that. It just makes sense to me. I know how to do that. I can't do this technical stuff. And you expect me to get this technical stuff, and I'm saying to you, Matt, why is fucking Citadel Dispatch? Why is the marketing so shit? Why don't you get it?
The marketing is fantastic.
No, it's crap.
Citadel Dispatch. You want to give me shit?
It's shit. Why don't you get it?
Yeah, you can't. Honestly, Pete, you can't give me shit.
It's embarrassing.
We both know that you can give other podcasters in the space shit. But you can't give me shit. I'm a very good marketer.
You're missing my point. My point is.
And to a fault, to a point where I wake up in the morning and I'm like, Matt, you're just too good. Stay humble. Like you can't do this shit.
My point being is
this is like borderline unethical because you hit good marketing and that's just
Matt. Listen, my point being
broken.
My point is, I understand creative, I understand marketing. I get it. It's easy for me. The tech, I don't. You're annoyed at me for
shit. You know what an XPub is.
I fucking do not know what I literally don't. I literally have no idea. I don't know.
What don't you understand? I just explained it to you.
I don't know what it is. What is it? Why do I need...
It's the fucking view key, bro. It's how you decide if what your balance is and what the transactions are. I explained this to you.
Okay, so let me explain to you. When I plug my hardware wallet in, my ledger, and it shows me my balance... Why do
That's
I need
your XPub?
Yeah, but it shows me a balance. Why do I know what No, so for example,
that's your XPub. How does it show you your balance without
I log into my bank account?
Your risk,
when I log into
increasing your risk.
When I log into my bank account with my bank and they show me a balance, I don't know what the variable is that they call that balance.
Well, there's no public-private key on that.
Yeah, but I don't know that, so why do I care? They have a name for it.
Pete.
No. Fair.
Because it's important. That's the whole point.
No, you say
that's
this
why
is.
we're here.
Yeah, but this is where this is where people like you and other techies do not understand the real fucking world.
No, this is ridiculous. Like, I mean, if you want to learn, I can teach you, bro.
No, it's
I'm
not about
good
that.
At this shit.
When I log into my bank account,
I've taught a lot of fucking people.
Matt, when I log into my bank account,
You've learned so much. You've learned so much.
Answer my question. When I log
have you not learned a shit ton from me, Pete?
You've learned good whiskey from me. Listen, when I log into my bank account...
I've learned a good whiskey from you.
When I log into my...
Just
answer my question. When I log into
I look forward to the next one after Taproot doesn't get activated.
Well, I'd be right. When I log into my bank account and it shows me my balance in my bank account and my transactions, what do they call that variable? How do you not fucking know this? You know this. How do you not know
Debit.
this? How do you not know that? You don't know this?
Debit.
This is the point.
What are you looking for? What are you looking for, Pete?
I'm telling you, when I log into my bank account or log into my ledger,
You're looking for your debit?
No.
I don't know. What do they call it in Britain land?
When I log into my ledger or my bank account, I'm looking for a balance and it shows me a balance. I don't know what my Xpub is. I don't know what my bank account fucking variable is.
Your
I don't
Xpub
fucking
is
care.
your view key. It allows you to, in a trust minimized way, look at the balance of your fucking Bitcoin.
Yeah, you're talking the language of 3% of Bitcoiners.
I'm explaining it in a very simple way
To
for
3
people who
for
your
3%.
listeners.
For 3%.
I respect the shit out of your listeners.
Yeah.
To Pete's listeners, Pete treats you like you're a fucking dumb bitch. I don't think you're a dumb bitch.
No,
I
no,
think
no.
you can figure it out. I think
Hold
you
on,
can
hold
figure it out. And I think you're willing to learn and you're happy to listen and learn and improve yourself. And if you are that person, who I 100% believe you are, like, you should come listen to Tales from the Crypt.
You should.
You
I
should
tell them
go
to.
over, type that into your favorite podcast app, Citadel Dispatch. We have a separate feed for it, or you can listen to it through the same feed.
We got one of my
join us.
listeners. We got one of my listeners. What's that? Matt's a fucking idiot. Matt's an idiot. It's fucking. He did.
You just got a call. What phone is that?
That's not a phone. That's from Crypto Tycoon, and it's a game. Have you not got Crypto Tycoon?
What is that game? Well, that's
game.
cool. The little device. It's like a little square.
That's me. That's the HODL card.
I can barely see it, but it seems interesting.
Okay, listen.
I like
Matt,
the device.
I'm going to tell you something as honestly as I can tell you right now, and I really want you to not think you're right and just.
I just want to be clear.
Just listen. Take
Go
this.
fuck yourself.
Take this on face value. Take this on face value. This is the honest to God truth, right? I am not somebody who cares about infrastructure. When I log into my bank account, no, listen, just because this is really important, because
We all hate you, Pete. What are you doing?
Because I'm fucking right, and I'm always right about the shit. When I log into my bank
You're
account,
so wrong. You're just wrong.
No.
Okay, continue.
when I log into my bank account, I put in my username and I put my password, and I get a code on my phone, and I put it in, and it says, "This is your balance," and I'm like, okay, I want to send some money to here, and I send it. When I open up Ledger Live,
You're using a cuck account in that situation.
I don't care. Whatever your explanation
That's
is,
not
I don't
your
care.
account.
I don't care.
Okay.
It does whatever your explanation is. When I plug in my Ledger and open up Ledger Live, I put in my username, I put in my password, and I get my Bitcoin balance, and I send some. At no point have I ever needed to, or do I need to know what an XPub is. I have a balance and I can send Bitcoin. You're in your own fantasy land of like tech fucking geek land where you're like, oh, we must know what an XPub is because blah blah. Like, I'm telling you, nobody cares, and and you can go on as much as you want about it. Nobody cares. I don't know what it is. I'm not making it up. I don't know what it is, and nobody cares. Apart from you and 3% of people. But every one of those 3% of people listen to my podcast. I'm like, go and listen to Tales from the Crypt. Listen to Marty. Listen to Matt. They know their shit. Fucking do it. But I'm telling you, they don't fucking care. They don't. And I know it upsets you.
What do you call your listeners?
I call them my slaves. No. I
Pete
just
slaves.
call them listeners. I don't. Whatever you want to.
Listeners.
You address them.
Listeners.
You address them.
General listeners who are listening to this podcast.
Yep.
Pete has zero faith in you. He has zero faith
No, that's
in
bullshit.
himself.
You can't lie to my
He has
listeners.
zero faith in
No,
himself.
you can't. You
he
can't
doesn't
lie.
think he can learn any kind of new
I've
thing.
never said that. You're lying. You're lying.
Pete, when he was a young boy, discovered fax machines, and he was like, I don't understand how they could sell mail through the fucking
You're so wrong.
phone
You're
line.
so wrong.
It doesn't make any sense. How does the sun come in and go through the window and hit the mirror and bounce off and hit my face? Like, that makes no sense. And so these people slowly evolved into dumber people. But if you actually care, there are plenty of Bitcoiners who are happy to be here to help you. And we're
agreed.
here and we're ready to fucking help, and we will fucking help you. And
Agreed.
we've helped Pete, and he's full of fucking shit because we're gonna fucking change the world. And
But I
And
agree.
An XPub is your fucking view key.
What's a
and
view
it
key?
makes sense. It makes sense. It's your view key. You can see balances. You can make transactions.
Okay.
But you can't spend the money unless you have the spend key.
But why do
And
I
the
need to
spend
know
key
what an
allows you to
XPub
make
is?
the fucking transaction.
But like when
That makes sense. That makes
No.
sense, Pete.
No, like I get everything you're saying. Listen, listeners, I agree with Matt. Look,
I agree with Matt.
I agree with Matt. Not Brad.
I agree with him too. He's a great guy.
Like Matt's a great guy. He's quite handsome, good drinker. If you want to learn about Bitcoin, I wouldn't recommend anyone else before Matt. Go fucking listen.
I
to
would.
him.
I have plenty of people.
No, I would say.
But they
Matt.
all agree.
All I'm saying is
that an XPub is a very basic thing that we should all learn.
let me be a listener to what Bitcoin did. Let me do that. I won't be Pete McCormack. I'll be Matt. I'll be like
Listener.
I'll be a listener. Matt, why do I need?
Listener 23.
Matt, why do I need to care about an XPub?
You don't. You don't have
Okay,
to care
cool.
about an XPub.
Done. Fine. Move on.
Listener 23. But the XPub is the way you're viewing your balances when you check on the computer.
Yeah, but why do I need to care?
You don't have to, but that is how you're checking.
But I don't care. So why are you going on about
You
it?
don't have to care, fucking
don't
Pete.
care.
You don't have
No,
to
no,
care.
I'm not
That's
Pete.
the point.
I'm not Pete. I'm Nigel. I'm listening to
The
Nigel.
point, Nigel, is that you don't have to care. That's the whole fucking point. Is you don't have to care.
don't care.
What you don't have to even know an XPub is existing in that situation. But the way the wallet software works, right, is that it is showcasing you your balances and shit without putting your funds at risk.
Okay.
That's
so,
how the software is set up.
but me as Nigel.
And that's the thing. That's what you don't like. We don't need to solve XPubs. We don't need to.
why are you going on about it?
invalidate XPubs or remove them from the equation. You don't have to do that because the fucking way the app works will just not even mention it. Like they don't mention it. Today they don't mention it.
Why are you going on about it then? I'm Nigel. I don't care. You're going on about it. You're getting upset about it. Pete said I don't need to care, and you're getting upset about it. I'm Nigel. Remember?
The thing is, we're talking right now about a view key. The spend key, the private key, is the important key.
Yeah.
That's the key that decides who actually controls the Bitcoin, who actually gets to spend the Bitcoin. If you don't own that key, you have no control whatsoever.
Are you saying the
And it's
XPub
really
isn't important?
It's really important that if you think you own Bitcoin, you better own that fucking spend key.
Are
You
saying,
better own that private key.
Are you saying the
If you
XPub
don't
isn't
own that,
important?
you don't own Bitcoin. You
you
just
saying-
own a fucking IOU, and you cannot get access to that if they stop you. So you better fucking get control of that shit.
Are you saying the XPub doesn't matter then?
Yeah, XPubs are gravy. It's
So
gravy sauce.
Why are you shouting at Lord Master Peter? He said it don't matter.
What?
Why are you shouting at Peter? I'm Nigel.
I'm just talking to Nigel. I think Nigel should figure his shit out.
I don't give a fuck about your XPub. We've literally covered XPubs and price, and we've fucking spoken for 2 hours and 42 minutes. I think you
It's been
got
a good
drunk.
time.
I think you got drunk, and that's the problem.
It's been a good time.
I know.
It's been
I just think we need to get to a point where you and like a lot of other people just understand, or like I'm not saying people shouldn't care and not try and learn it. They just don't care and they won't learn it. You're right, but I'm just a little bit more right.
Yeah, I mean you've been wrong most of this episode, but
I've literally been right for 3 years about what people care about.
why are we still friends?
Because if Bitcoin only had you, it would just be a nerd toy, and if it only had me, it would just be a douche toy.
Oh my god, Bitcoin wouldn't exist anymore if we only had you.
I think if the fact that we have both of us, I think the fact that we have both of us, we get people who get to drive Lambos, and we get people who get to drive a Prius.
Oh well, I would never drive a Prius, but like Lambo. Once again, Lambos you
All right.
cannot get. You
All right.
cannot get a non-automatic Lambo. You are
Okay.
automatically a fucking stick cuck if you get a Lambo.
Enjoy your Prius, dude.
No, I'm gonna enjoy my 911, but okay.
We're friends because we both appreciate where we're coming from. I just am more empathetic to your side than you are for mine. You're
I'm extremely empathetic.
no, you're
Why
not.
am I here?
You're a tech snob.
What's going on?
You're a tech snob.
Why am I on this fucking podcast right now? If I'm not fucking,
Because I sent you a really nice bottle of whiskey.
I mean, I agreed to it before you sent this to me.
Yeah, but that helped.
You did kind of buy it though.
I did. It's a good bottle of
You
whiskey.
kind of just bought my.
How much fun would this
just a bit-
podcast be if we just agreed with each other? And you went, "Here's an expert." We come, well, I know what a fucking expert is.
Well, I'm not gonna agree with you because you can.
Exactly.
You have shitty opinions, to be honest.
Well, yeah, you have fucking nerdy opinions.
So let's talk about Bitcoin, bro.
Yeah. What do you want to talk about?
Have you done a coin join this year?
I still don't know what a coin join is.
You haven't done a single coin join this year.
Never done one. I've not done one in
I
my
don't
life.
believe you.
I've
I
not
don't
done one
believe
ever.
you.
I've
I
never
don't
done one.
believe you.
No,
Really?
yeah, I've never done one. Never done a coin join.
We're not just fucking with each other. You have legit never done one.
I opened up.
I hate you.
No. I opened up the thing.
I
where
thought
you
we
do
were
it.
friends. I don't like you anymore.
No. I opened up the thing. Is it?
You did a whole episode on wasabi. You didn't do a single
Yeah.
coin
What's
join?
What's the washing machine thing?
What the washing machine?
Yeah, the thing like where you put it in a washing machine. What the fuck's it
No,
called?
we're not putting shit in fucking. Why are you just gonna accept like the fucking traditional finance pigeonholes for us? Like if it's just laundering money, you're not laundering money.
No, I spoke to Shinobi. I said this year I need to get better at it, but I think he doesn't like wasabi. Or
No, he doesn't like Whirlpool.
Whirlpool.
He pretends
that's the washing machine. That's the washing
he pretends
machine.
He's not pro wasabi, but he's
What?
fine with you using wasabi.
I don't know
And
which is which.
then He has join market, which you're never going to use because that's way too difficult for you, Pete.
No, I've done a joy market.
No, you haven't.
No, I have.
So you have done coin join.
I just fucking made that up.
Yeah, there's no way. I knew there was no way you did it.
Is that the Chris Belcher thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's his
know of
current-
that.
It's his
I'm-
current thing.
Yeah, no, I've not done it. I've not done a coin join. I did look at it. I did a call with the people who did it, which is the one with the software where you type in your password and as you type it in, it does it in Chinese characters.
That's wasabi.
Yeah, so I said to them, "You're fucking idiots," because literally every piece of software in the world, when you put a password in,
I
is
know.
a star. So you
I
put
know.
Chinese characters in,
I
and I
watched that.
immediately don't trust
watched that.
you. Fuck you! I'm not using your software. And like,
Yeah,
I'm not an amateur.
To be clear, I don't think you should use their software. So
So how do I
we
coin
agree
join?
on that. You should use. I think you should use Whirlpool. I think Whirlpool was designed for you.
Okay, so I tried to use Whirlpool, and
Do you have an Android phone, bro?
No, I've got a Mac.
Okay,
and
so let's
an
get
iPhone.
you an Android phone.
I don't want an
I'll
Android phone.
send you one. I'll buy you one if you don't want to buy a cheap one.
No, I don't mind the money.
And then we'll scan my dojo. You can use my node. You can be my little bitch.
Okay,
You
so
use my node.
this is again where you're like in 1% land. You have to have an Android, and you have to use your node, and you have to you're in 1%
No,
land.
you can be my Uncle Jim. I can be your Uncle Jim. You can use me. You can
How many
use
of
my
your-
node.
How many of your uncles have coin joined using your node?
I have 12 nephews right now.
How many of them have coin joined their Bitcoin using
I
your
have
node?
12
Don't lie.
CoinJoin nephews that are using my fucking Samurai node right now.
Oh, hold on. Are they Bitcoin people? Or are they your actual nephews in the real world?
Well, they're not real nephews.
Okay, so
But
they're just nerds. They're other nerds.
But they're
you
not
found.
Bitcoin people. They're friends. Like they're real life friends, right?
Okay.
Like they're people. They're existing people who don't run their own nodes and they're
My
using
engineer
my
coin
node.
my engineer coin joins.
Yeah, your engineer's like a real Bitcoiner.
Yeah, he is. Danny.
Only
shout
real
out,
Bitcoiners
Shout out to Danny.
fucking use CoinJoin.
Okay. What about 21 million Bitcoiners who just care about 21 million? Actually, do you know what? We've talked about a lot of bullshit, like arguing about technical stuff that I'm not going to do. Let me ask you some like big important questions, right? Like
Okay.
really, let's
me.
get real now.
Hit
Let's
me.
get real now.
I'm down
Okay.
for that.
Let's get real. I put this question to the mooch the other day, right? Okay. The 21 million has a massive appeal, supply and demand. Like, let me get in there first, hedge fund, whatever. I don't give a fuck if you custody for it me. Like, here's $100,000, Grayscale custody it. Skybridge custody. I don't care. I just want part of the 21 million. But like, really, that's all they care about. They don't care about censorship resistance. They don't care about seizure resistance. They don't care about what's happening in Belarus with Lukashenko and people sending money so they can fucking protest. Or what's happening in like, these people don't care. Does that matter?
Not even close.
They don't care. But I'm saying, does that matter? Or is it like, actually, no, this is fucking great. We can take their money and we can spread this software around the world and we can use them. Like, it doesn't matter, or does it matter?
It's mostly the latter, but we need people to care.
Yeah.
But it's mostly the latter. Like, we don't need those people to care, but we need people to care. Like, Michael Saylor can be anti-privacy, and he can pump the price of Bitcoin, and he can hit all of our talking points, and we can just assume that he's not actually going to defend real self-sovereign Bitcoin usage, which I do not expect him to, which I haven't expected him to from the beginning, and I expected this. This is very clear. It's very obvious, but we still need individuals around the world to stand the fuck up. Like, we need them to stand the fuck up, and that's it's the uncomfortable truth. The uncomfortable truth is that we need people to put this mission on their fucking shoulders and make it happen. But these individual billionaires that are just pouring money in, they can just pour money in, and it helps. It helps the mission.
Does it?
But
really?
They don't care. Yeah, because it helps, because it incentivizes miners who are securing the network. Right?
Does it ever get to the point?
It increases the value of the token that's paying the miners that are securing the network. So it does help everybody. And it provides a little bit of cover to everyone else who's using the fucking thing. But we need people to fucking stand the fuck up and not just be like corporate shills.
But like, does it get to the point where there's too much corporate Bitcoin hedge fund money, not enough real money, and that becomes dangerous?
I don't think so. I think it balances itself out.
Okay.
I think their corporate money is worthless, and they don't even realize it. Like, their corporate money is worthless if they don't have the plebs like stepping up and like defending this currency.
Yeah,
and
the plebs are interesting. I got them wrong.
But they don't even have to even realize, because it doesn't matter, because the plebs are standing up and defending this currency. Like, that's what we're seeing. That's what we're doing. That's what we're handling. So these guys are just coming in separately, and they're just increasing our security budget. But yes, absolutely, we need the plebs to step up. But they are, and they're like my people, man.
Have you seen it, man? The Bitcoin price has just fucking crashed to 28,000. It's crashed to 28,768.
We're fucked. I'm so poor.
Fucked. I understand a little bit more.
One day I'll be rich again.
I understand a little bit more about the plebs now than I used to. I dismiss them. They will still hate me forever, but I think I understand a little bit more about them than I used to. I don't like the name the plebs. I think it makes it sound like something fucking 10-year-old uses. But,
no, it's humble.
No, it's not humble. They're fucking.
It is humble. Fuck you.
They're not humble. They're fucking assholes.
Okay, but the term pleb is a humble term.
I don't think it is. It's a.
The term pleb is a humble term.
I don't buy it.
I mean, most people who call themselves plebs are worth way more than a pleb would be worth.
I think it's a badge of honor.
Okay.
I think it's a badge of honor. Okay, Saylor. So let's be brutal about Saylor. Does he give a shit about Bitcoin?
No. I've said this from the beginning.
Is he just there? Just get like? Is he? But like, is it? And so
I'm
if
saying
he's
this
only
as
there to
someone
get
who
rich, is it a bad thing?
He follows me on Twitter, and I follow him back. So I'm saying this as someone who every single time I'm critical of him, I risk that unfollow or whatever.
Yeah, but fuck that. You don't care. You don't care. I don't really care about that. Like
what I'm saying is,
he's man of the year.
Of course he doesn't fucking care. Like, he's a billionaire. He has 7 yachts. The U.S. government protects him.
Yeah, but
he's
yeah,
he's
but
not
let's
going to talk shit about the U.S. government. He's not going to fucking protect sovereign Bitcoiners, and that
okay.
is fucking fine.
Let's
It
be
is
brutally
fucking
honest.
fine. The way the mechanism works is that him unloading into Bitcoin helps all of us.
That's cool. That's cool. But listen, does it matter that he seems to not give a shit about privacy?
Most people don't care about privacy.
Yeah, I don't. I don't. But like,
You care.
does it matter? Not not as
You
much as I
care.
should. Not as much
You
as I
care.
should. No, I care, but not as much as I should.
I like I said, I think he has to protect himself, and I respect that. Like I understand, like, you're a billionaire, you can't talk about radical things because you can break your status quo. Like, if you're happy and you're living as a billionaire on your fucking one of 7 yachts, and you have your like 8 ladies and they're all like fucking fantastic with you, and you're paying your taxes and they're probably way too high, but you don't fucking give a shit because you came up with this idea during the .com bubble that just fucking propelled you into billionaire status, and here you are. I don't blame you, bro. But I'm gonna be critical about it, and I think the individuals need to step the fuck up. But I don't expect Michael Saylor to care about private Bitcoin usage. He's gonna protect his own. He's gonna protect his own lifestyle and make it happen.
We just dunked, man.
What?
We just dunked to 28,185.
Oh, we dumped.
We dumped from
Because I definitely didn't dunk on Michael Saylor.
29.
I respect him. No.
29,297.
Oh my God, we're going down to zero. Like, I do liquidate your loans quick.
Do you ever look at it? Do you ever look? I know.
Stay humble, stack fucking sats.
I know. Blah blah. Stay humble. Blah blah blah.
Fuck
But
you,
just-
man. It
I agree
sounds
with you. I agree with
simple,
you.
but it's not simple.
I know. I'm just saying.
We're
but
gonna make. There's gonna be Rockefellers. There's gonna be equivalents of Rockefellers.
I know.
1,000 of them, and they're all gonna be like, we stay humbled and stack sats, and that's gonna be powerful as fuck. It's gonna be insane. It's gonna be
I know
fucking
that.
ridiculous. We're gonna all be sitting there, and probably having a party that is way too gratuitous, and we should probably be more humble about. And we're all gonna be standing there, and they're gonna be like, "Yo, but like Matt's meme was like way on point. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I just should
Yeah, but
stay
I know
humble
this.
and stack
But do
sats.
you ever-
Like that was the move."
I know. But do you ever look at it and go, I still can't fucking believe we're at $28,500.
No,
Still
yeah, every
can't
day.
fucking believe. Yeah, it's just like, what the fuck?
Every day. Every day I remind myself
You should have bought
to
more.
stay humble.
You
Yeah,
should've
I
bought
mean,
more.
I should have bought. I didn't buy enough. Obviously, none of us did. No one did. There's
Dude,
not a single
Sailor.
person on this planet that bought enough Bitcoin.
Sailor bought
He didn't buy enough
27,000.
Bitcoin. He should have bought double that. What he
Do you
bought.
see that tweet though? After he bought 27,000, like, I just don't have enough. I'm like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah, no one has
Behave. Yeah. All right, man. Have we got anything else we're gonna cover? Because it's like 1:15 in the morning.
It's been 3 hours. It's 1:15 by you.
Yeah, we'd have set a record if we were together. I feel
I
like
don't
we've
think
done
we
this.
did. It's still shorter than last year.
We haven't really covered anything. We haven't really talked about anything.
We
Apart
talked
from the
about
shit
price. We
stuff
talked about
you were wrong about.
shitcoins. We talked about Sailor.
I think we're about done.
What are we talking
It's,
about, bro?
1:15.
I appreciate everyone who's listened. I appreciate Pete, even though he's wrong about a lot of things. And hopefully he learns to use a wired headphone so he doesn't have to deal with this situation in the future. And I look forward to next year, and I think that everyone should just stay humble and stack sats.
I just want to say a massive thanks to Matthew for coming on the show. He's one of my best friends in Bitcoin. I appreciate him. It helps me spending time with him to see how nerds think and all the bullshit they care about that no one cares about. It's really useful. He's a good friend. I love him dearly. Hopefully, I think this is as long as I've been since I've been in Bitcoin, since I've not seen him, and that's that's mildly depressing. But hopefully I'll see him soon. It's really useful to get Matt on, so my listeners can see what nerds do and realize it's a bunch of bullshit. But like, I do appreciate Matt coming on and talking about that stuff, and hopefully I'll see him soon. And I love him. And yeah, peace out, my man. Have a happy new year.